Welcome to Film Therapy, the unofficial, unlicensed movie podcast. Thank you for listening. Hello, welcome to Film Therapy.
Welcome.
This is episode 60. This has been 60 episodes in the making. If you go back all the way back to episode 1, we always knew we wanted to cover these movies. So first of all, this is Film Therapy. I am Jake, and I am joined by my co-host Madison, and we talk about movies that feel like therapy, and sometimes we talk about really bad movies, but that is not today. Today we are talking about something that is quite foundational to our friendship, even though we'd been friends for a while before it. It's like pretty, I guess integral is a better word, not foundational. Foundational would be like Garden State or something.
Yeah, this is integral for sure.
Yeah. So we are going to be talking about what we call the Lucy trilogy, which consists of The Boy Who Could Fly from 1986, The Great Outdoors from 1988, and Cheetah from 1989. I think all those years are correct.
Yeah. Yep. Can't contain my excitement.
Do you want to weave the grand tale of how we came up with this idea and how we kind of found ourselves watching these movies?
If I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, but
it's been like 3 years?
Like 5.
How long ago was 2019? I don't know.
4. Yeah.
Everything since then has just been like
it's been like a year. I don't know.
Yeah, we're still in the same year.
Feels like it. So I think I was over at your house looking through your movies, or you were showing me your movies, and all in alphabetical order, of course. So I come across the C-section, the C's, and I see the movie Cheetah, and I go, oh, I love this movie. I watched it all the time when I was a kid because I was obsessed with anything big cat related, tigers and lions and cheetahs and leopards and everything. So my mom got me this movie when I was a kid, and I loved it. And so then you were like, no way, that's so cool. And then we bonded over our love of Cheetah. And then I'm not sure how it went from there. Did you already have this kind of started in your mind?
I think I kind of had the vague idea, but it might have even been more like, hey, I have this underrated 80s movie called The Boy Who Could Fly that I have seen and I love it and I want to share it with you because underrated 80s movies are my thing.
Yeah.
And then I also had The Great Outdoors, and then I was like, wait a minute. What if it wasn't just Lucy Deakins? What if she was portraying the same character in 3 movies? And I know we watched all the movies, but I don't know if we had that in mind when watching it. I think it was like around the time we were watching, because I think we watched whatever order we watched them, and I think it was around the time we were on Cheetah that we were like, hey. How about this? What if all of these movies were somehow connected? And I probably just said that at one point, and then you were just like yeah, that'd be really interesting. And then we sat down and actually brainstormed a trilogy outline, and that was a lot of fun.
That was so fun.
We did actually send it to Lucy Deakins because she is now a lawyer in Denver, Colorado, where we were both living at the time. And that was great. So, Lucy, if you happen to be listening to this, hello.
We love you.
We love you. Let us know what you thought of that, if you got it, Like,
I hope she at least read it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, so I guess, well, first of all, thank you for telling that. That is accurate, your rendition of the story. Yeah, and also you ended up on Photoshop making VHS artwork for all 3 movies that matches.
Yes.
And I happened to get all 3 movies on both DVD and VHS because why wouldn't I?
Because of course.
Yeah, of course. And so I still have those as the VHS cases. It's just I just don't have them with me right now, unfortunately.
Dang.
But I know where they are. They're safe. So.
Okay, good. Yeah, that was fun. That was a 2020 pandemic project to create the cover art for those. That was fun.
Because then you said to me you should do the ones for the DVDs, and I still haven't done that, but I would really like to
Oh
do that.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so I guess we should move on to the Boy Who Could Fly.
All right, let's do it.
This movie's great, and I wish more people knew about it.
It's so good.
It's genuinely like really like a great 80s movie.
It is.
It's kind of just like a slice of life story, and then it's got a little bit of like fantasy sprinkled throughout.
Which is my favorite type of movie, with a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of magic.
So this was released in 1986, and in addition to Lucy Deakins, also stars Jay Underwood as the titular character, and Fred Savage is also in it. He plays Lucy's brother, Lewis. And okay, so all these movies are PG or G, so we can't say, big curse words.
Okay. Well, I watched The Boy Who Could Fly on HBO Max, and I rented The Great Outdoors on Amazon Prime. I couldn't find that for free anywhere. And then Cheetah is on Disney Plus. Yeah.
Yeah, Cheetah's on the Plus because that's where I was just watching it.
Yep. Same.
Yeah, Great Outdoors, it's not streaming anywhere for free. So, unless you pirate it, which don't pirate. Wink.
You could if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Wink. I almost just looked up like the scenes with Lucy for that movie, but I was like, I'll watch the whole thing. It's good though. It's good.
I almost just fast forwarded also because it was late and I was tired.
Yeah.
So I love that we both almost did that. Like there's like the rest of the movie's good, sure, but like nah, we gotta watch the best parts of the movie.
Well, it's kind of like, I don't know, a generic trilogy where the second movie is like meh, kind of not the best one in the trilogy, and then like you skip to the third one is better and the first one is better, I think. Or like in a movie, like the second act of the movie is the slowest. I feel like if this was an entire movie, the second act would be like, yeah, The Great Outdoors.
Well, I do really like The Great Outdoors. I just think that the Boy Who Could Fly sequel editions that we added to it make it like a much better movie. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess we should say the first Boy Who Could Fly is released by Warner Brothers, and then Great Outdoors is Universal, and Cheetah is Disney. But yeah, so when the Boy Who Could Fly, when the opening credits started, there's an actress in this movie named Janet McLaughlin, and absolutely no disrespect to this actress, but this movie would be even better if Kyle MacLachlan was in it.
Oh yeah, imagine.
Can you imagine?
Imagine. Oh my gosh. Oh.
And this is 1986, so it's like Blue Velvet era Kyle MacLachlan.
What if he was like a teacher? Well, he'd be like a really young teacher, but he could have been like the Mrs. Sherman.
Yes.
But like a secret agent undercover Mrs. Sherman. And Eric, he has to keep an eye on Eric because they're using him for a secret mission.
Yes.
Also.
So imagine so Kyle MacLachlan, Jeffrey Beaumont would just be chilling, as like he'd be the teacher that everybody loved because of course everybody loves Kyle MacLachlan, but then we just see him on the phone and he's talking to David Lynch as Gordon Cole. and then Gordon is just like, Coop, you've got to keep an eye on this kid or something. and he's like shouting it.
Yeah.
This boy's important. We're just like,
oh, yes.
I can't do a David Lynch impression, but like, just when he's like shouting.
Uh-huh.
It's the best thing ever. We need to put that into this outline, that Kyle MacLachlan's just somehow in this movie.
Yeah. We'll write him in.
If Kyle MacLachlan was in every movie would just be better for it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so The Boy Who Could Fly is about Lucy plays a young girl named Amelia Michelson, and she and her brother Lewis and her mother, whose name is Charlene, they move into a new house, into a new neighborhood, and it's just kind of like the trials and tribulations of moving. Lewis has this little bike and he wants to go around the block, but these bullies prevent him from doing so, and both of them kind of struggle socially at school. And then their next door neighbor is this boy named Eric, and Eric likes to sit on the edge of his window and extend his arms as if he's flying. And Millie finds out that he's autistic and his parents were killed in the plane crash. And even though Eric had no idea of this happening, that's when he started, putting his arms out and pretending to fly. And he hasn't spoken anything since. And he also lives with his uncle Hugo, he's there. He's drinking a lot.
Yeah.
They make a point to say that he gets drunk a lot, but like he obviously still has to like get food for Eric and stuff. So he's probably not that, like, even like Mrs. Sherman is like oh, he's much better off with his uncle. So like I assume his uncle still takes care of him,
Mm-hmm. And he loves him and everything. So
he just doesn't quite have everything together yet. So then Mrs. Sherman is the Millie and Eric's teacher, and she's kind of got all the inside information about Eric and really cares about him. And these people from, I think they're from the state or something, not Cooper, but everybody else, who's from the state. Like they often take Eric away to this hospital or patient center or something, and they don't treat him very well. And the last time he was there, he got really sick. And yeah, so Mrs. Sherman says to Millie, because she realizes that Millie and Eric have been bonding, and then so she asks Millie to kind of just be friends with Eric and just see if she can make those connections with him that he doesn't really have. And so it's just more about the two of them bonding and learning more about each other, and it's just really like sweet story that's happening. Because of certain events that happen. Okay, like I know there's the big one where she tries to get the flower, but I'm like, what else is there before that? I guess that's it. So
there's like a time once where he's like at the window and then she looks back and he's at his window, yeah. but their houses are like 20 feet apart, so she's like, what?
And there's like nothing connecting the two of them, so like,
right.
But yeah, he's like on her windowsill, and then she leaves the room. It's the same shot, and then she comes back, and then he's in his windowsill, and she's like, how'd that happen?
And his uncle told her that he can fly.
Yes. His uncle also told her, you can't start a bottle until the cork lands on its feet.
That's true. So
which is amazing.
Also, good point, Uncle Hugo.
Yes, Uncle Hugo is great. So then Millie and Eric go on to a field trip. I mean their whole class is there, but who cares? So they're
who cares about them?
Who cares about them? Screw all of them. So when they're on a field trip, and Millie's trying to reach this flower that's like, she has to like stand on the ledge of a bridge and like reaches for it and can just barely not get it, and so she falls and hits her head and ends up in the hospital. But since she only has hit her head and she has no other injuries and fell a lot, then she really starts to believe that Eric caught her and that he can fly. And also the fact that she has a dream where they have this like adorable Peter Pan style romantic flight and everything. Then that also reinforces that belief. So then she's trying to figure out if Eric can really fly. She also has to help Eric because the people who work for the hospital are trying to get him too, because bad guys.
Antagonists.
Yes.
I just think it's a really sweet movie. The ending is really comforting, and even though at the end, Eric and Millie are running away from the antagonists, and they go up to the roof of the school, and leap off and grab hands and soar over the crowd of people looking at them. And they soar through the neighborhoods all the way home. Eric drops Millie off and then kisses her goodbye, and he finally speaks to her. He says, "Goodbye, Millie, I love you."
Yeah.
And then he flies off. Then Millie and her family like live their whole lives according to Eric, basically, and they're like, Eric has taught us that we can do anything if we try hard enough. And it's just so sweet.
Yeah.
Lewis stands up to his bullies by filling his water gun with pee.
Yes, it's amazing.
That's
Cinema.
the best part. That's the best part.
Yeah, it's iconic. It's great.
The dog recovers from getting run over.
Oh yeah, the dog gets run over too. It's really sad.
God, it's so sad. I was like, no.
The middle of this movie is like really sad.
It is. Oh yeah, because they dive into the whole thing about what actually happened to Millie's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Because what did she tell Geneva, her annoying friend? That
Oh god, we didn't even mention her.
Oh, Geneva.
From what I remember, Geneva's just like asking all these annoying questions that are like really personal. She's like, what happened to your dad? What kind of cancer did he have? When did he die? How did he die? And then Millie just doesn't really want to talk about it, because why would you want to talk about that to your annoying neighbor?
Yeah.
But and then later on she's talking to the nurse from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, who's actually not like Umbridge in this movie. Like she is.
But she plays the same kind of nurse, which is funny. Or
yeah,
doctor or whatever, Psychiatric.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, it's funny.
Maybe this is a sequel to that. Maybe the experiences of that movie changed her.
I think that could be plausible as well.
It could be.
Because she's a changed woman, and now she comes in and she's telling Millie, "You're not a wacko," and like really reassuring and everything, which is how she's not in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. But so I think she's changed. So she asks Millie to talk about it, and then it's revealed that her dad killed himself because he didn't want the whole family to suffer, because he had got diagnosed with cancer. He had been diagnosed with cancer, and then right after that, Lewis tries to get over the block again, but can't do it, and then their dog gets run over. God,
it's awful. It's so sad.
So bad. Second act. What am I saying? Second act of the movie.
Yeah,
Rough.
I wrote that down. That like Lewis tries to conquer the block in every act.
Yeah. It's kind of a nice break in the story, or like a feels like a little commercial break or something. But it's kind of like in The Great Outdoors with the raccoons.
Yeah, it is kind of like The Great Outdoors and the raccoons.
Although we are much more attached to the character of Lewis than we are the raccoons. But, we hope to see Lewis
succeed.
Take care of his bullies, so.
Yeah, so one thing I wrote is, so there's this other girl that tries to be friends with Millie, and her name is Geneva, and she's the neighbor girl. She's obnoxious. She's like that girl in When Marnie Was There.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I was like, which anime is it that I'm thinking that she's reminding me of? That annoying friend. Okay, yep.
Yeah, like the one that tries to be friends with Anna, but then she's just kind of like, she doesn't really get boundaries, and it's just kind of like, she says she just inquires a bit too much, and she's not a good influence. Right. Like there's a scene where Geneva says to Millie, like, "Oh yeah, like your mom isn't here. We're just gonna get drunk. We're just gonna make vodka smoothies."
Yeah.
And then that's what they do.
That's what they do.
It's like that would never happen in a movie today.
It's just so random.
There would not be 14-year-olds getting drunk and watching TV. The actress who plays Geneva is Mindy Cohen, who is the voice of Velma in many of the Scooby-Doo movies, and also in the Mystery Inc. TV show, which is a really great TV series. Which also
Really?
that series has Scooby-Doo visit the Red Room from Twin Peaks, and the little red man is there.
Oh yeah.
And there's also references to Lynch's Dune, which make me very happy. So, and Geneva's brother is the bully kid, the kid that bullies Lewis.
Yes. Of course he is.
So, not a great family.
No.
And then the bullies, they call Lewis Soldier Boy, and I just can't help but laugh every time they do it.
I know, right? It's Soldier Boy, get him. And they're like, they're all wearing like anarchy shirts, and their dog's name is Hitler, and
they have a sign that says "Keep out, vampires keep out."
Yeah, what? So it's a weird like commentary on the United States Army. I don't know. Propaganda.
Yeah, I don't know. The director of this movie is Nick Castle. He also directed a film called The Last Starfighter. And he's also the actor who played Michael Myers in the original Halloween, and also reprised his role in Halloween Returns, Kills, and Ends.
What?
Yes. So the director of this movie is Michael Myers.
What?
And him and John Carpenter were also in a band.
Oh,
together.
Sick. John Carpenter's awesome.
Yes. And the game that Lewis is playing, the Atari game, is the video game adaptation of The Last Starfighter.
Oh my goodness. How cool.
Yeah, and then there's speaking of music, when they're watching the TV, Millie and Geneva, when they get drunk and they're watching TV, that is the band that they're watching, is John Carpenter and Nick Castle. And I believe the other band member is Tommy Lee Wallace. I might be incorrect on that, so I'm going to double check. But Tommy Lee Wallace is the director of Halloween 3 and the 1990s version of it.
Oh, wow. And they were all in a band together? That's awesome.
Yes, they were all in the band together. The band is called the Coupe de Ville.
Ah.
They did the theme song for the movie Big Trouble in Little China, which is a movie directed by John Carpenter.
I have not seen that. Have you?
No, I have not, but now I kind of want to, just because of that. And speaking of music, there's also a band called Thrice, and they have an album called The Alchemy Index, I believe it's called. And on that album, they have a track entitled "A Song for Millie Michelson." So.
Oh my god.
Yeah, which is totally unrelated. They just did that to reference the movie, and like the lyrics reference the movie and stuff. So.
Really?
Yeah, I'll find the song and pop it in the chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Geneva says, "I hate people who can't hold their liquor." She's talking about Uncle Hugo, and then she proceeds to start making drinks. And I put, "Why is she here?" in my notes.
Seriously.
Which I love that that's like a recurring phrase that we say. Like we watch Daredevil, and you're like, "Why is Bullseye? Why are you here?"
Oh, wow, Daredevil. I'm trying to remember that one.
I was re-listening to that episode recently because it's just so funny.
Oh my gosh,
Like-
I have no
like-
recollection.
You don't remember like the Evanescence music and like the like when young Daredevil's bullied and the bully says, "I dare ya."
No. When was
I don't
that?
care.
When was that movie?
2003.
And then what's her face is in it?
Jennifer Garner. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
She's Electric Nachos.
Yes, Electric Nachos. Yes. Okay. Got it.
Oh, I love that movie. It's amazing.
That's so funny. Anyway, yeah, like why is she here? And also Ted in Cheetah is kind of along those lines.
Yes.
Well, at the beginning.
Yes, which we'll get to.
We'll get to Ted. Ted has a bad haircut. I can't get over it.
Ted is also the kid in Adventures in Babysitting that has a crush on Elizabeth Shue.
Oh, okay.
He's like the older brother in that movie. Have you seen that movie?
Maybe, but I don't remember it if I have.
I remember thinking it was pretty good, but I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah.
But that movie, it's like Elizabeth Shue goes and babysits, and Ted is the older brother, and then the younger sister is obsessed with Thor, and then like Ted's buddy comes along. Then they have to go into the city, and like, hijinks ensue.
Yeah, maybe I haven't seen it.
And then they did a remake as the 100th DCOM, which I have not seen that version.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
The 100th DCOM.
The 100th DCOM was a remake of that movie, which is funny because I think the original was a Touchstone movie because they couldn't put it under Disney because, like, there's a lot of, like sex references and they say the F word and stuff, so... But yeah, in 2016, the 100th DCOM was a remake of Adventures in Babysitting, starring Sabrina Carpenter and Sophia Carson. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's a tangent. But anyway, still on this one scene in the movie that when they're drinking their smoothie margaritas, whatever they are, the movie they're watching on TV is called To Catch a Thief from 1955. I watched it yesterday.
Was it good?
It was really good.
Oh, sick. It
was really good. It's Cary Grant and Grace Kelly. She's wearing like all these beautiful dresses and he's basically like James Bond, except he's not James Bond.
Okay.
He's not British. But like Cary Grant could have been James Bond.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Could have been. 100%.
So and that scene has a lot of tension and it's basically like a 50s movie being like, hey, they have really heated dialogue and then kiss and then it fades out and then she wakes up in the morning and it's like, that's the 50s for you.
But honestly, that's all we need.
Yeah, really. Like it was actually really great because it's like, okay, so that's what happened.
Right.
Okay,
we don't
cool.
need to see the whole thing. Like Noah and I just watched a movie, and like they started to get into a sex scene, and he's just like, I don't get why we need to see this, and I was like, me either. I don't know.
Like there's something about older movies that just like the way because they couldn't show anything, like it just feels more like it has more of a sensual feeling at times than when things are actually shown.
Yeah.
And also, it depends on what it is, because some movies are just terrible at showing sex.
Yeah, true.
I watched it on Amazon Prime, so it's on there if you want to watch it. And then I put there's this recurring theme of Millie looking at other kids and kind of feeling left out, but she never she never like ditches Eric for the popular kids or anything. Like she still has her integrity.
Yeah.
Like do you have any thoughts on that, or does that just kind of sum all that up?
No, that's pretty accurate to what I was thinking too, because I just watched a movie where that did happen. Like these two kids get into middle school and then one leaves his friends for the popular kids and
was it the first Diary of a Wimpy Kid?
No. But yeah, it just is unusual. I mean, she seems like a smart girl, kind of shy and not one to be fake just to get friends, and she has a genuine connection with Eric, so she's like, well, like I already have made friends, so it's fine. I don't need to be part of the popular crowd or whatever. It shows like good character on her part too, because she sees past Eric's autism and like likes him for who he is. So yeah.
There's also the moment where she's reading him the Golden Book of Dumbo, which I assume is a Golden Book adaptation of the Disney film. And Nick Castle, the director, said that movie was an inspiration for this one for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Although this movie is not as traumatizing as Dumbo, so there you go.
Yeah, watch this instead.
Yes, watch this instead. Don't watch Dumbo. It's horrifying and depressing and racist.
I have not seen that since I was a child, so probably won't.
I tried watching it. It's very difficult to get through that movie. It's
really?
only it's not even that long. It's only like 65, 70 minutes long.
Oh my
But
gosh.
like the whole movie is just depressing and horrifying and
Ugh.
racist and mean and I didn't know until I was an adult that the elephant is actually named Jumbo, and they call him Dumbo like as a derogatory nickname. And I'm like, that's
Aw.
horrible.
Aw.
And then like
Poor Dumbo.
none of the other elephants like him because he's got giant ears, which is dumb. And like then the pink elephant scene is like amazing, but also freaking terrifying. Like that's
Yeah.
like people were scared of the boat ride in Willy Wonka. That's nothing compared to those like creepy elephants.
Uh-huh.
Like there's that one shot of like like a body composed of elephant heads walking
Yes.
towards the screen. That's
Yes.
terrifying.
So scary. So trippy.
I mean, it's awesome, but it's horrifying.
Yeah. That's like, it reminds me of the Raggedy Ann and Andy, where like that movie's kind of trippy too, and it's kind of along the same animation style with that pink elephant scene, but
Oh, cool! I haven't
the
seen
whole
that.
movie. Oh my god, it's terrifying.
There's also that like '90s like live action Pinocchio movie that looks really creepy.
I don't think I've seen that.
I don't know any of the actors in it. I've just seen like it advertised and stuff. But but like just watching this movie again, like I just love the way '80s movies look. Like just like whatever film stock they used back then just looks so. It just looks so great. Like everything looks like so natural and like even when like even like through the remastered process, like '80s movies look great. Granted, I just watched this on DVD, so you know, because there's no Blu-ray because there should be, but there isn't.
Oh,
Yeah, I think I actually had to track it down on DVD because I think the DVD's a bit pricey. So
dang.
but obviously that was like 4 or 5 years ago that I got it, so
Yeah.
could be different now.
We can start a petition to put it on Blu-ray.
We really could. I think we could put that as a poll on Instagram, but I think most people would just be like, what the hell are you talking about? just the way that '80s movies look. I can't describe it, but I really love it.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because I thought that Cheetah, I had to double check the release date on that because I was like, this looks way worse than The Boy Who Could Fly. I don't know if it was just like the remastering of it on, or maybe it wasn't as remastered on Disney as The Boy Who Could Fly was. But I was like, the camera was shaking all over and the sound seemed bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they were like maybe in the process of upgrading technology and it just wasn't like honed in yet or something. I don't know. It just felt weird.
Yeah, I don't know because like when was that? Like 89 something
Yeah.
that would be right on the cusp of new technology because 91 would have been T2 and 93 would have been Jurassic Park. So right around there. But that's CG, but you know, still same new digital technology, you know.
Yeah.
But with The Boy Who Could Fly, I really do like that the movie is actually like there is a mystery about whether Eric can fly or not. Like we
Yeah.
don't know until the end.
Yeah, me too. I really enjoy that.
Like because the movie could just flat out be like, "Oh yeah, like it's totally like during the movie you're rooting for it and you want to believe in it, but like you don't really know for sure because there's plausible reasons why it could be and plausible reasons why maybe not."
Mm-hmm. And then we get that spark of magic at the end.
Yes, and it's absolutely delightful.
Mm-hmm.
And also the fact that she dreams of him in this movie, and then again in the third movie, is a nice like rhyming thing. Although in this movie, it's more like a Superman the movie type scene, and the third movie, it's more like David Lynch. I always found it like this unique storytelling device that Millie is narrating during the movie, but not for like the first half of the movie. It's only the second half that she's narrating.
Oh, I didn't really notice that.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's like the last 2/3 maybe, but like she doesn't narrate for a little while.
That's weird. It's based on a book, right?
No, it is not.
Oh, it's not. Oh, yeah, because it was written by the guy who was inspired by Dumbo.
Yeah, Michael Myers.
Michael Myers.
But the third movie is based on a book. which I have not been able
Yes.
to find or read. So,
Oh man.
what do you think of their house, of the Michelsons' house? Do you have any thoughts on their house?
Not really.
Okay.
What do you think?
I mean, it's a house. I just wrote it down because I'm like, this might be an interesting point of discussion because they live in like an older house. But then since watching the movie yesterday, I totally forgot if I had anything more to say about it because my note just said their house.
I did notice it when they were running away from the
Police.
hospital people or whatever. Yeah, and they were in the school, and then they were in this like perfectly normal hallway, and then all of a sudden it cuts to them running up like an attic staircase. I'm like, where did that come from? And it leads them right to the roof, and it's like 1 second they're in the wide open hallway, and then they're running up an attic stairway. It's, I don't know, it just felt like that was random. So that was funny, but I like their house. Probably could be haunted, so maybe that's another reason why Millie dreamt the things that she did. I don't know. Or maybe the reason why... No. Never mind. I was trying to go somewhere, but not really. I was going to be like... What were you going to say? Like how the second act is so sad because like the demons are getting down to him and really wearing him down. Yes. Everyone's depressed, but then Eric comes in and he's an angel and gets rid of all the demons.
Which is also the theme of the entire trilogy. Because during the Great Outdoors, that's where Millie's headspace is, and then in Cheetah, Eric is an angel, and he comes back to help her with that. So it's not only is that the movie, but it's also the trilogy. So good job.
All right, okay, I'll take it.
There's a line where she's narrating, and she says, "Just when just when everything was going well, it got better." And I'm like, what a way, my note says, what a way to narrate that sentence. Because
so good.
Because like when you say it like that, it's like, oh crap, something bad's gonna happen. It's gonna get worse. But nope, it gets better. It gets better before it gets worse, but it gets better at least.
Because family movies. Yay.
So the lost episode of SpongeBob is called The Sponge Who Could Fly.
Oh my god.
The SpongeBob portion of the lost episode is just it's not really that great. It's just kind of mediocre. But the Patchy scenes are some of the greatest. It's some of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Does it have anything to do with this movie?
No, unfortunately not. If Lucy Deakins met Patchy, it would be the greatest moment in cinematic history.
Oh, imagine.
It's not.
I can see it.
Well, it's a map to the lost episode of SpongeBob that I lost. It's great. It's funny because it's the penultimate episode of the original SpongeBob, and it features Steven Hillenburg, the creator, in a treasure chest, giving Patchy, played by Tom Kenny, who's also the voice of SpongeBob. He gives it's symbolic. He gives him the VHS tape of the lost episode. Patchy says, "I don't know what it means either," and slams the treasure chest back onto his head. So it's very symbolic that that's the second to last episode of the original run.
Aww.
But anyways, when Lewis gets in trouble for misbehaving at school, he says, "Mom, I was framed." And I just thought that was really adorable.
He's such a little poop head.
Yeah.
But he's so cute.
And then when he's like, when they're at the hospital, and then he's like stepping on each individual tile, like that's what I would do as a kid.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It was like white and black tiles.
Such a good representation of what a kid would actually do.
Really though. And then also when Millie comes back from the hospital, Lewis says, "I miss you. Now you can be the one to do the dishes."
Yeah.
And I also thought that was like, I love Lewis. He's so great. I wish he was in the other movies.
Me too. Yeah. He could have been. He could have easily been the younger brother in
Great Outdoors.
Yep. And then Ted.
Why it should just be Lewis instead of Ted. Sorry, Ted. Not sorry. So the sign on the by the Geneva's brother, the big bully, the sign that his dog is sleeping next to, the Hitler dog, it says "Vampires keep out." I don't know if I said that yet or not, but
I
just
wonder
think that's
why.
funny.
Did the Lost Boys come out?
The
at that time?
the same year, maybe a year after. Let me see when The Lost Boys came out. But I was gonna say, can we connect it to Twilight? Oh, the Lost Boys was 87. Actually, it is kind of
Oh,
similar to
okay.
Twilight because a girl moves to a new town with her family, and
Yeah.
it's in a new house, meets new people and gets new friends. Kind of doesn't really fit in at school, and meets a boy who has fantastical elements to him.
Yeah.
And in the second movie, she gets a different boyfriend because her first boyfriend had to leave.
Uh-huh.
And then the third movie is about reconnecting with that boyfriend, the first boyfriend. And I got nothing for Cheetah. But the Great Outdoors is really like New Moon, especially with
Yeah,
the
it
shit we
actually
added
relates to
it.
that a lot. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. Yeah, it should have the, not that that movie has a bad soundtrack by any means, but imagine if The Great Outdoors with
Oh,
Lucy
yeah.
Deakins had the soundtrack to New Moon. That would be amazing.
Oh, yeah. Oh my god.
That'd be the best movie ever. So fun fact, I need to tell Tuin this, or I need to ask him about this, because Tuin is a big fan of the show Psych, and there's an episode of the show Psych where they're watching this movie on TV,
Oh, really?
and I have not seen that episode, but I want to I want to ask Tuin about that because, yeah, because I'm like,
Like
hey,
The Boy Who Could Fly, right?
yeah, sorry, The Boy Who Could Fly. Yeah, they're watching
Okay.
The Boy Who Could Fly in an episode of Psych.
Huh.
The movie,
Is that a serious show?
no, it's like a comedy.
Oh,
It's
is
like
it?
a
Okay.
procedural comedy.
Oh.
Maddie, there's an episode where they go to a parody of Twin Peaks, and the and like the score is like the score for the episode is like a riff on Angelo's score. Cheryl Lee is in it. Ray Wise is in it, I believe. Like some, not Kyle MacLachlan's not in it, but some of the other Twin Peaks actors are in it, and
Aw.
it's really funny. It's really funny.
I just want to watch that episode.
Yeah, it's called Dual Spires is the episode instead of Twin Peaks. And like I said, Cheryl Lee is in it, so you know.
That's awesome.
I think they even recreate the scene in the morgue from the pilot when like Cooper is with the flickering light and Cooper and Harry are looking over Laura's body. It's like I think they do that kind of scene, but
Oh my
Cheryl
God.
Lee is there instead, and that's kind of like ironic because
Oh. Haha.
in the Psych episode she's alive, she's not dead.
Yes.
So,
That's good. We like to see that.
yes. So the movie, The Boy Who Could Fly, begins with Eric making a paper airplane and flying it out the window, and the movie ends with Millie doing the same thing, which I didn't
Yeah.
notice until this time.
Oh,
I
really?
just made that connection, and I feel stupid.
Don't feel stupid. It's okay.
I like to think that the ring that Eric gives her, because first of all, I think it was his parents' ring, because there's the photo of him with his parents. Mm-hmm. Like it was like his mom's or something. But I also like to think that she's wearing it throughout the entire trilogy. Like she never stops wearing it.
Yeah.
And then I like the song that's in the end credits too. You know, it's kind of nice.
I forgot what it is.
Well, whatever it is, it should also close out the third movie also.
Yes.
Tie it all together. And then I put. So we talked about Geneva, but are there any other similarities between this and when Marnie was there, or do you think that's just it?
Well, the trilogy as a whole could be kind of connected to when Marnie's there, because as we'll find out about the third part, that's kind of reminiscent to the ending of when Marnie's there with Eric.
Except it's not weird.
Except it's not weird. It's just normal weird. And I guess like Millie and Eric, they have their own adventures, and well, when he runs away, it's storming, kind of like in that big storm, and when Marnie was there.
Yeah.
And that's like when they really have that deep connection moment.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody really understands their connection quite
Other
like
than them.
they do. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I really love that. I also love the scene where it's like when Lewis is in his room and it's storming out, like right before that scene you were just talking about, where there's a scene between Millie and Lewis, and I really like that scene too. And I don't know if I think I wrote this in the document, but in our version of The Great Outdoors, there's a scene that parallels that. So I don't know if I wrote that down, but that might be in there somewhere, because there's a scene where she's talking to Lewis. In our little headcanon story here. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think so. I think you covered everything I was going to talk about too.
Okay, great. So I guess we'll move on to the...
Yeah, let's move on to The Great Outdoors.
Okay, so The Great Outdoors was released in 1988, and it stars John Candy, Dan Aykroyd, Chris Young, and of course Lucy Deakins. And Maddie, do you want to recap this one?
So, we've got John Candy and his family. His wife and 2 sons are traveling to this vacation spot at a lake where they have... John Candy has been to a lot of times growing up with his father. It's in the wilderness. There's a lot of trees everywhere, including in the parking lot. And then they're getting all settled in, ready to relax, and then John Candy's brother-in-law shows up with his family, his wife, and their 2 twin scary daughters, Gingers, and ruin their vacation because John Candy doesn't want them there. They're annoying. Dan Aykroyd is just like this rich, snobby guy, and he's always just causing trouble. So it's the trials and tribulations of the 2 families trying to stay in one house together and have a good vacation.
That's great.
Yay!
That was a great summary.
So are the wives sisters?
Yes, the wives. I believe so. The wives are sisters, because I think they're brother-in-laws.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, it was taking me forever. I was like, are they brothers? No. Are they cousins? No. And then I was like, oh, he said brother-in-law at one point, and I was like, okay, so it must be...
That's funny, because I thought they were cousins too. Like, and then they said brother-in-law, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But like when I started the movie, rewatching it again, I'm like, wait, aren't they cousins? Like...
So I was wondering about... They had a lot of, like, wild animal stunts in this movie and Cheetah, so I kind of wanted to look up how they did that. Apparently this bear in the movie, his name is Bart, and he's been in a lot of movies. He's been in ones with Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin, but anyway, we can get into that later. So when Lucy comes in, it's the older son, John Candy's son, named Buck, and he's like, I don't know, probably 16 or something, and he wants to wander around the town and kind of hang out for himself, see what the locals are like. So he meets, her name is Cammy in this movie, but I might just keep calling her Millie. And
he meets Millie Michelson.
He meets Millie Michelson at an arcade. They're both playing pool, and he accidentally pokes her in the leg with his pool cue stick. And she gets mad and storms off, and so he chases her and tries to apologize, and then she's still like, whatever, I don't need you. And then they start kind of having a summer fling, which is cute, and I think it's kind of her rebound after Eric leaves her.
yeah, pretty much.
She's a lot more
jaded, cynical,
forward, and like maybe like confident and outgoing in this movie, because I think she's like, whatever, Eric's gone, I don't care. And she's like, I'll just make out with this random guy in the mountains. And but then they actually like end up having a pretty good connection, but he still ends up leaving, goes back to Chicago, and Millie is left alone again.
Man, she can't catch a break.
Man. She works at a local, like, diner type thing, and
I think it's an A&W diner.
A&W diner? Nice.
Yeah.
It's a funny movie. It was kind of hard to transition from the sweet, genuine, lighthearted, romantic The Boy Who Could Fly into this, like, raunchy, funny John Candy, a Dan Aykroyd movie.
Yeah. It really is kind of an interesting transition.
Yeah.
Going between the two.
So I'm like, oh, geez, that shouldn't, no. But it's a good story about how families can argue, but they still end up loving each other and getting along in the end, and they end up living together for good at the end. So, fun times. Were there any sequels?
No, but this might blow your mind. Check this out. First of all, can you imagine if they made a TV sitcom with all these characters, but somehow Lucy was also there? So like they're all living in one big house, like in Home Alone. But
okay.
But somehow she's there too.
Yeah.
So there's two. I've seen almost every film that John Hughes has directed, because he's directed like 8 movies, and there's 2 of them I haven't seen. One of them is called She's Having a Baby, and during the end credits, there's a lot of characters deciding, spoilers I guess, what to name the titular baby, like the baby that the main characters have. Mm-hmm. And in the end credits, there's cameos by our great friend Matthew Broderick, who reprising his role as Ferris Bueller, apparently. Which that blew my mind. I'm like, holy shit! Like, holy crap! Like, there's another movie where Matthew Broderick in the '80s played Ferris. That's dope. But also, I haven't seen the movies. I'm just saying this is just based off of internet knowledge. But evidently, Dan Aykroyd, John Candy, and Chris Young, who plays Buck, are all playing their characters from The Great Outdoors. So technically, The Great Outdoors is not only a sequel to The Boy Who Could Fly, but a sequel to She's Having a Baby.
Weird.
So technically, it's a sequel to 2 movies.
Oh my gosh!
So now I need to see that movie, like now.
Like now.
I kind of wish I hadn't known that before seeing it, because that would have been like the most insane plot twist ever. But I'm glad that I know, so now I have like a really strong incentive to watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
I think Kevin Bacon plays the lead guy, so that's also a reason to watch it.
Oh, okay. But he doesn't play like his character from Footloose.
No, if he did, then we would have to make a whole Letterboxd list out of this shit.
Oh yeah.
Which maybe we still could. But so Universal was talking about in 2017 doing a remake with Kevin Hart, but I don't think that's still happening. And Dan Aykroyd has also mentioned wanting to do a sequel with the director Howard Deutsch, but like now, and I'm like, why would you do that? Just make a sequel with Lily Michelson and her rebound boyfriend, like that.
Let's do a spin-off like that.
Yeah, that'd be much better. Then
Get
it
Lucy
could actually
back in the acting scene.
Yes, that's all the information about how this movie's how this movie is actually kind of a sequel. I mean, to us it obviously is, but like in the real world that we don't live in, it also kind of is. Last movie, I said that Kyle MacLachlan should be in every movie because he makes every movie better. But I would also say the same about John Candy. I watched this. I think I said this on a previous episode, but I recently watched this movie called Rookie of the Year, and it was about this kid. It's kind of like if you've ever seen Like Mike. You ever seen that movie? It's like that, but it's baseball. So it's like a kid playing in the major leagues, but he's a kid because he's got like superhuman abilities. So John Candy is in that movie as the radio announcer throughout the movie. And I had no idea he was in it. He wasn't in like the credits or anything. So when he showed up, I'm just like, oh, this movie's going to be great. John Candy's in it.
Nice.
I wish that John Candy could still I wish he was in every movie.
Yeah. Is it his birthday on Christmas?
It might be.
I don't know why I know that.
It's funny too because obviously I was young enough where this didn't really matter. But if I had somehow gone my entire life without seeing Home Alone, and I had let's say you watch Home Alone and like you just like catch it on TV or something, like when John Candy shows up in that movie, that's also like surprise John Candy. You know? John Candy's birthday is on Halloween.
Oh, his birthday's on Halloween. Okay.
Yes. But yeah, so I don't know how much I've talked about this on the podcast, but John Hughes also is really obviously very influential to me and to the work that I have done and am doing.
Yes.
I love Breakfast Club and like Plane, Trains, and Automobiles, Home Alone, 16 Candles. Some Kind of Wonderful is also really underrated. Uncle Buck, Great Outdoors, etc., etc. But it's funny because this movie is it's kind of almost like the middle ground where it's like because obviously I definitely enjoy this movie, but like it's not like one of my ultimate favorite John Hughes movies where like I watch it and I end the movie being like I felt that,
Yeah.
like this is more kind of just like comedic with like tiny bits of like the teen drama type sprinkled throughout.
Right.
And I kind of just wish that there was a John Hughes written teen drama like Breakfast Club level with Lucy Deakins in it.
Yeah, me too.
Because that would be really great. Because this is the only movie of that he was involved in that she was also involved in.
Yeah, I wish they would have worked together. Like what's her face?
Like Molly Ringwald.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of unmade movies, there's a movie that I really wish was made. They were gonna make it in like the 90s, but it's like it was I believe it was Matthew Broderick and Molly Ringwald, and they meet and then they go like it's like they meet and go on a road trip, and it was gonna be a John Hughes movie, and then it ended up and never happened. But I'm like, that would have been amazing. Because like the whole movie is just like kind of like a Lost in Translation Before Sunrise type movie, but it's those two actors and it's John Hughes. I'm like, that would be really good.
That would be really good.
It was going to be called Oil and Vinegar, and there's a script written, but it was never produced as a feature film.
Dang.
Oh, yeah. So it says, a soon-to-be married man and a hitchhiking girl end up talking about their lives during the length of a car trip. And yeah,
man.
And I'm like, that would have been amazing. And it would have been the director of The Great Outdoors, because the director, Howard Deutsch, also directed Pretty in Pink and Some Kind of Wonderful.
Okay.
Where he met Leah Thompson, whom he later married. So he's also Leah Thompson's husband. Fun fact.
Who's Leah Thompson play?
She's Amanda in Some Kind of Wonderful.
Okay.
She's the girl that Eric Stoltz goes out with. And also she's Marty's mom in Back to the Future.
Oh, okay.
She's also in Howard the Duck, but we don't need to talk about that.
Okay, let's not.
Speaking of kind of unofficial sequels, this movie has the vibe of an unofficial like vacation movie, but instead of Chevy Chase, it's John Candy and Dan Aykroyd.
Yes, I was gonna say that. Definitely has that type of vibe. Just funny, family, crazy stuff happens. So, I was thinking about the scene where John Candy takes his younger son to go like look at the bears feeding in the trash pit.
Yeah, that scene.
It's so bad because, oh my gosh, it's like those people get killed when they throw candy at bears and then like try to lure them closer, so it was painful for me to watch, like, oh no. And they climb on their car, and so I was trying to look up like how John Candy was working with all the bears and everything, but it's just all this information about Bart the bear. He's like a great
bear
actor. He's like, this article said he has perhaps become the highest paid animal actor.
What do animals do when they get paid?
Yeah, who does that go to? What the heck?
We should just search that. What? Yeah, I'm gonna type that into Google and see what I get.
Like, who owns Bart the bear? Well, he died in 2000, but
Aww.
He's been in a lot of movies. I was gonna look up like the age range of bears because when John Candy's telling the story, he's like, when your mom and I honeymooned here, we saw the bear, and then the bear comes back like however 20 years later, and I was like, do bears live that long? But yeah, they do. This movie only has 41% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I actually knew exactly what you were going to say. I read your mind.
Stop it.
No, I'm serious. Like when you said this movie only has I'm like, are you going to tell me what the Rotten Tomatoes score is? That's a little surprising. I thought it would be like 60% or something.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that bad.
No. I mean, it's not like a masterpiece, but like it's kind of like a lazy Sunday movie or a summer movie, you know?
Definitely.
Like,
That's a great way to describe it. Lazy Sunday movie.
right. It's like it's like this and like Caddyshack are just kind of like I think they play them both in the summer a lot on TV, and like it's just kind of like one of those things where it's like, okay, you know, like you come in from playing outside and you turn on the TV and this is on, and sure, I'll watch it, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of like that kind of vibe. But yeah, so the question is, if this is for dogs, so it might be a little bit of a different answer. But when a dog acts in a movie or TV show, does the dog get paid, or does the money go to the owner? And so the answer is, up until 1967, dogs were paid in full directly after they paw printed contracts with studios. It became a real problem confirmed by social scientists because, as non-humans, dogs have no impulse control, and substance abuses became common among the jet set.
What?
And then nowadays, unlike human actors, animals do not receive residuals. They are considered freelancers and are paid only a one-time fee. If there are specific behaviors the animal needs to learn, it may be paid half wage for each training day. That doesn't answer who gets paid. However, since dog actors are not eligible to join the union, technically the owner or trainer is being paid. The pay for animal actors is usually far less than human actors in commercials. Most contracts will specify a flat rate for a buyout, which means the dog actor does not receive any residuals. So I don't know if that applies to bears also, but I assume so.
Yeah. Cheetahs.
You ever seen the movie where Christopher Walken is shouting, "Bears"?
No.
You don't need to. Okay, actually, the movie is called The Country Bears, and you do not need to watch it because it's horrifying.
Okay, no, I have seen that.
But,
yes.
But Christopher Walken, he plays the bad guy, and he's like, "Bears."
Oh my god.
It's great. I'm so happy he's going to be the Emperor in Dune Part 2. That's such an inspired casting choice.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. Christopher Walken, Puss in Boots.
I think Puss in Boots is nominated for Best Animated Film at the Oscars.
It is. I was talking to somebody. I went to a film club meeting, and he's like, the top 3 movies of my year were Everything Everywhere All at Once, one other good one, and Puss in Boots. And so he told me all about like how great Puss in Boots was and how into it he got, and I was like, all right.
I've actually heard Puss in Boots is great. Like, I've actually heard it's a really good movie, and I'm
brother
excited
liked it.
I kind of want to see it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: you need to you find this man, and you need to tell him that he needs to see RRR because everyone needs to see RRR. Next time you go to this film club,
I think he would like that.
Tell everyone go watch RRR because it is the best. It is the most movie ever. So
it is so much movie.
It is so much movie. You know, other than Morbius, of course. Which is also the most movie ever, but for different reasons. Oh god, that movie. Okay, so back to this unofficial sequel, The Outdoors That Are Great, with a giant bear in it. Let's see. So in the first movie, when Millie is talking about something, she's talking to her mom about Eric. And then when she talks about when his parents died, she starts humming the theme to The Twilight Zone. And in this movie, Buck and the younger brother, they turn around and see the Dan Aykroyd's twin girls, and the Twilight Zone theme starts playing. So that is a connection.
Oh my gosh, connection.
Yes.
Those girls are so funny.
I love I love the moment. Like, I genuinely love this when John Candy goes to like comfort his younger son about the scary bear story, and then Dan Aykroyd hears that, and he wants to do that. He wants to connect with his kids, and it's like this genuinely like little sweet gesture. So he goes inside and he starts talking about this he starts talking in like this really like he's using all these big words and stuff, and then he starts talking about this other thing that's like unrelated, but it's even more horrifying.
Yeah.
Then just cuts to the next morning, and his kids are still awake.
They're just wide awake. Everyone's like peacefully waking up, and they're like staring. He goes, "Good evening."
Good evening. How's it going? Girls, as your father, I feel it incumbent upon me to set the record straight on the validity of the tale which Uncle Chet shared with us this evening. and then he just keeps going. And then like, I don't know. Maybe I should just read the quote instead of summarizing it. But then the story he starts talking about is he's talking about a band of escaped psychiatric patients who found this family and killed them and ate them.
Oh yeah. And the girls just sit there.
Yeah.
Do 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 do. And I like how his wife is pretty normal. Like, she could be awful in this. Like, they could have made her character so mean and everything, but she just, like, she's there to laugh at her husband's jokes, and she's brutally honest with him and gets along with everybody, so I liked her character.
Yeah. You mean Dan Aykroyd's wife?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, how ironic. John Hughes' first choice for the role of Roman, that's Dan Aykroyd's character, was Chevy Chase. And he wanted to reunite Chevy Chase and John Candy because they were both in vacation. But Chevy Chase was already making this movie called Funny Farm and was not available.
That would have been too much, I feel like.
And then John Candy suggested Dan Aykroyd. You think Chevy Chase would have been too much?
Like, too much just like vacation, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the movie is pretty much like a vacation spinoff anyway. But yeah. So we go to we end up at the arcade at some dead guy's party, where we are reunited where we are reunited with our dear friend Millie Michelson, who has had a really rough year, but now she works in an A&W diner. Really, like, okay, like, first of all, her name is slightly similar in this movie, which I know is a bit of a stretch, but like, here's the thing: is like, she could be the same character, and she is, but like to us,
she is, yes,
and she is. But the thing is that like her entire story is in the peripheral of this movie. It's happening. Yeah. We just don't see it in the film itself. Right. So that's why it was like that's why it was pretty easy to do. Yeah. So the raccoons are great. They also show up in a post-credits scene, which I think is kind of funny.
Oh snap! I missed it.
Yeah, it's like 20 seconds.
But also the credits scene was weird with just a Dan Aykroyd dancing. I'm like, okay, so we're back in the lodge. What's happening?
I feel like that was supposed to be in like the middle of the movie, but then they just put it at the end.
Oh yeah, probably.
Unless that's like the next year they go or something, but like I don't know. I didn't bother with the names sometimes, but I just put down Millie's boyfriend's arc is learning that it's good to have time with his dad. Because if your dad is John Candy and he's trying to spend time with you,
yeah,
that's wholesome. Spend time with your dad. Like, that's his arc. Is like, hey, like, my dad's cool. Another scene I really love is when John Candy goes water skiing. And then like he's trying to teach his son, but then he's like waving, so then they're like, oh, he's gonna go, and then they just he just goes around the whole lake.
I was also wondering like how they did all that. I'm sure it was a stuntman, but that was funny. It went on so long.
It does. It goes on for like 5 minutes. There's the guy who got struck by lightning 66 times in the head. And
what's up with that?
And then now he's like in tune with the weather. I'm like, that's so weird.
So Lynchian.
It is Lynchian. It is Lynchian. And then there's the part. This is the part when they go on the boat ride early in the morning and they wake up and all the leeches are there on them.
Ew. I hate the leeches.
Yeah. So in the last movie I said there was something I just noticed. So this time I just noticed, for this movie, watching it again, I just noticed that when Millie is waiting for Buck to show up for their date and he doesn't show up because his dad is eating the steak, she leaves like there's a part where he like sees this like Coke can or something and like knocks it over, and then I realized like in the scene before it, that's like she has that, so she left that there so he would know that he didn't show up on time. I think I could be reading into it too deeply, but I saw she had like a can of something, and I don't know what it was, like beer or Coke or whatever, and then like he like knocks it over when he gets there, and I'm like, somebody else could have left it there, but maybe that's the point of that.
Yeah, that sounds legit.
Oh yeah, and then the part at the end when they're trying to save the girls from the bear, when John Candy says to when he's lowering Dan Aykroyd down, he's like, "I don't think about any tight places. Don't think about a submarine or a coffin or anything." Imagine like at one time when Millie and Buck are hanging out, she says like if she took like hunting lessons between movies because like her stepdad's like an environmentalist and that's why they go to Africa. So let's say like her stepdad like took her and Ted and Lewis hunting one time. Or a couple times, and then she actually got good at it. And she comes in with the shotgun and just like shoots the bear. Like it would be it would be a 5-star movie if that happened.
10 out of 10. If she came in and slayed the bear
and actually killed it. Or even if it just runs off like it does in the movie, that'd be fine.
Yeah, imagine like, oh, here's how it could go down. It's coming at her. She has the gun. She shoots it. It falls on her. And then we think that she might be dead too. But then she like crawls out from underneath. She's all bloody. And she's raises the rifle over her head and goes, yeah! And then Buck runs over and like does her, dips her into a romantic kiss and fireworks fly and the end. And then they go into the dance scene where it's mostly Buck and Millie.
10 out of 10. Best ending ever to a movie.
There we go. I fixed it.
And it also ties into like her whole arc of the story because the whole time she's like struggling with a lot of serious things. That was kind of the idea that we had was like, well, once Eric's gone, she's going to kind of just like she's going to keep breathing, but her enjoyment of life is just kind of not there. So like right. When you think she might have died from the bear attack, it's like, oh no, like she's just like getting back on her feet. Mm-hmm. But also it's training for when she goes to Africa.
Yeah.
See, it connects all of them even more.
See? It just makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so what a great ending. 10 out of 10. Even without like us like adding stuff, like that would just make the movie ending better. Like
yeah, I agree.
And then she could have scenes with John Candy and Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, perfect. She probably didn't even like interact with them on set.
Yeah, I know.
Sad.
We can talk about real life facts about Lucy Deakins.
All right, let's get into some real life facts about Lucy Deakins.
Okay, so her real life father is named Roger, but it's not the Roger Deakins. It's a different Roger Deakins.
Oh. Interesting.
So she enrolled in Harvard in 1988, the same year this movie came out. Then she graduated in 94 with a degree in comparative religion.
Harvard?
She took time off. Yeah, Harvard.
Okay.
Good for her.
Good for her.
She took time off from acting to backpack across Europe.
Wow.
And then in 2007, she graduated from the University of Washington School of Law, which she still practices law in Denver, as far as we know.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a movie.
Dang. Yeah, it's for real, like her whole life.
It could star Thomas and Mackenzie. That's it. That's all I found out.
Oh, okay.
About her. That's all I could.
Well, that's
find.
cool. Mm-hmm. She must be very smart.
Evidently, yeah.
So, where was she in between The Boy Who Could Fly and The Great Outdoors?
I just told you she was in Harvard.
Oh, no, I mean, like, back to our story.
Oh.
Where was Millie?
I was like,
where
wait.
was Millie?
Okay. Let me see here. We shall weave the grand tale. Okay, so The Boy Who Could Fly ends with Eric flying away and everything kind of returning to normal. And everyone feels the hope of life again. Right? That's how the movie ends,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, sorry, but Millie's just basically still missing Eric. Like that's taking a toll on her, even though she's still getting by and doing okay. Because she doesn't really have any friends. Because why would she be friends with the other girl?
Right.
So so that sounds horrible. So yeah. So Millie's just kind of like she's getting by, but she's struggling a bit because because Eric's gone and that's hard on her. Millie is also having Lynchian dreams of Eric, where it's like she revisits them flying, and then it goes into like Cheetah's running in Africa, and then the whole time it's like the ring that Eric gave her is like superimposed over all of it, kind of like how the hand in Dune is like superimposed over like the like spinning space circles and like all the water and stuff. And on top of that, her mom meets this other man named Earl Johnson, and they're really in love, and she's like, she's found somebody else and moved on, which is good for her, and he's an environmentalist, and he's. We never really learn much about him. He seems like a pretty good dad. He's just kind of there. Millie's just kind of like, a little bit torn up over Eric, so she's just kind of like, okay, whatever. But Earl has another son, a boy named Ted, who is closer to Millie's age than Lewis's age. And he and Lewis really bond pretty easily because Ted has the maturity of a young child. Lewis is actually probably more mature than he is.
Yeah.
So and then Ted tries bonding with Millie, but that doesn't really work because Millie's like, you're an idiot. But Millie's like, you know what, life's still moving forward. Maybe I'll give that a try, right?
Yeah.
But then one night she overhears her mom gets a call from one of the doctors, where she hears that Eric has not necessarily been found, but they think that he has passed on somewhere in Africa. Mm-hmm. Evidently. I don't know if because what we put was it's revealed that Eric has died of starvation somewhere in Africa, and I'm like, can we just say Eric has died? Like, that might be a little too much.
Yeah, it might be too much. A little too much. Maybe it could just be more of a mystery.
Yeah. So it's not confirmed, but they found a body that might be Eric. So then obviously this just kind of breaks Millie a little bit, or a lot, obviously. And so she just kind of just really distances herself from everybody, including Lewis and her mom, and she just spends more and more time away from home. And then she ends up getting a job at an A&W diner, but it doesn't really do anything for her except for the fact that she's not at home as much.
Yeah.
Because kind
like, of a distraction.
Yeah, and like even though like Lewis and her mom are like obviously wanting to be there for her about Eric and like how she's really struggling, it's like there's like two other people living in the house, and
right,
like there's they got their own lives going on, so she just kind of carries the weight of it on her shoulders and tries to not make them suffer with her also, which leads us to where we find her in this movie, where some kid hits her with a billiard cue and she's like, okay. And
okay.
Well, actually, right away he tries to like apologize and kind of like get to know her, and she's really just like, dude, like just get the fuck away from me.
Yeah, she doesn't have time for him. No.
She doesn't have time for guys anymore.
Her heart's been broken.
So then that's what happens between The Boy Who Could Fly and The Great Outdoors. So just imagine this movie having like a 20-minute prologue.
Yep.
Of The Boy Who Could Fly sequel.
Yep.
And then we don't see Millie for a half hour. So.
Yeah, we just get some John Candy laughs and have a good old time in the great outdoors.
Exactly. So in The Great Outdoors, the music is it kind of has this like old, it's kind of got like some older tunes in it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like which is kind of it's kind of cool because like even though the movie is very 80s, like the fact that like the music is from an older generation kind of gives it this like nostalgic flair, which
Mm-hmm.
obviously like time helps because it's an 80s movie, so there's even more nostalgia. But like even at the time, it's kind of like John Candy's like, oh yeah, like my dad used to take me here when I was young, and then it's like so he's feeling nostalgic about that, and
Mm-hmm.
then the music kind of fits that vibe a bit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And the song that they're dancing to at the end, "Land of a Thousand Dances," um, has lyrics that say the name Lucy like 3 or 4 times.
Oh my god.
He's like he's like dancing with Lucy, twisting with Lucy, my little Lucy. It's like
Ah, stop it. Oh my god.
so that's why I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Why is she not in that scene with the rest of them? I don't know.
Yeah, what the hell? Why wouldn't it show like her and Buck dancing together?
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Why? That's like the most important relationship that we care about during the whole movie. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, who gives a shit about anything else?
Yeah, come on.
Obviously.
And now I'm pissed.
Like that'd have been so funny if they cut to a shot of them dancing and the lyrics are like I'm twisting with Lucy.
Right, like, hello, do you even know how to director?
This is from the director of Some Kind of Wonderful, your favorite non-lesbian romance.
Oh man, I feel like I need to watch that again now, like knowing what I know.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Oh man, so I wouldn't be confused the whole time.
Hot take, I might like it more than Pretty in Pink.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's been a minute since I've seen, yeah, those other John Hughes movies.
Well, that's what we can do next episode, is watch those two movies and compare and contrast them. They're the same movie. It just
Are
depends on
they?
which actors you like better. Or which like Some Kind of Wonderful has the kid in detention. Like the one kid that's like becomes his friend. That's the best part of either movie.
Oh my gosh, really? I don't remember that.
And then and I guess that's a spoiler. And then but Pretty in Pink has Harry Dean Stanton as Molly Ringwald's dad. So,
Oh,
you know, that's also like that's also great because Harry Dean Stanton's like great in everything.
let me look him up. Do I know him?
He's also in Alien and Twin Peaks, Fire Walk with Me, and other things. But he's also a musician.
Oh, yes, this guy.
He's also in The Green Mile, Godfather. I did not know he was in Godfather too. Rango, Wild at Heart, The Avengers, Cool Hand Luke, etc., etc.
Okay.
So I actually have a draft of the screenplay. Not like I have it on my computer, and it's a bit different. Like the order of events are a little different. Some of the lines are different. But what's really interesting is that everything with Buck and Millie together is like it's all there, but like they happen on different days of the story.
Oh, really?
So what happens is like one night like he's sleeping and she knocks on his window and then they go out onto the boat.
Ooh, I wonder where
totally
she
different.
learned to go to somebody's window from.
Exactly. and then like there's the scene where Buck is asking John Candy, his dad, he's like, do you mind if I just go walk around town, you know, do my own thing? And then in the script it's like he says that, and then the next scene is when he sees Millie at the diner. So
Okay.
which is interesting because I'm like, that's interesting. And then in the movie he's wearing the same shirt 2 days in a row.
Oh, teenage boys.
So
it's probably, yeah, just something that happened in editing.
yeah, I
Interesting.
just found that really interesting.
Yeah.
And then in the scene when Buck and his dad are in the rowboat, when he's like, oh, okay, so like us coming here is like you coming here with your dad, and they have like that bit of understanding kind of moment. There's also a bit in the script when he's talking about Millie to his dad.
Oh,
He's like they don't interact, unfortunately, Lucy Deakins and John Candy. But he's like, he's just like, Dad, like there's a girl, and his dad's like, oh, okay. There's that bit. Okay, actually, while I'm on the topic, the trailer for the movie also shows some minor deleted scenes, but none of them feature Lucy because she's not even in the trailer.
She's not even in the trailer.
No. That wasn't the selling point of the movie, evidently. They need to sort out their priorities.
Seriously.
And then the other thing is, the family dynamics are pretty funny at times, you know, like obviously Dan Aykroyd and his wife are more, like, especially him, like he's more uptight and like he wants to connect with his kids, but he can't because he doesn't know how. And then like John Candy's already got that, like with his sons. But one thing, so like it's pretty standard. But one thing I think is really interesting is the bit when Dan Aykroyd's like when he's I don't know whose wedding it is, but they were at somebody's wedding, and then he said like John Candy you were talking to this one guy, and you were saying like these like things about me that really hurt. And then later on he's just like, yep, I was lying. And I'm like, I wish that had been true, because that would have been like really like a bit more complex.
Yeah.
Do you know the part I'm talking about? Of course Dan Aykroyd should come back and they should have the third act of the movie, but I still wish like he hadn't made that up, because I think even if it would have been out of character, like I think that would be a really like interesting little like, oh, okay, so everything about this isn't so black and white.
Right. Yeah, a little bit more deep and complex.
So yeah, we should make an edit of this movie somehow.
Okay.
We have to film more footage though. Evidently.
That's fine. Which character do you want to be?
I want to be Lewis from The Boy Who Can Fly. Because I don't want to be Ted.
Yeah, no.
I don't think anybody wants to be Ted.
Noah can be Ted.
You just read my mind. I was just gonna say, do you think Noah would want to be Ted?
Yeah, Noah can be Ted.
What a real psychic moment. Noah could be a better Ted than actual Ted.
Than Ted.
Not even like the actor playing Ted, but just like the character playing Ted.
Yeah.
Like,
I could see it.
I think it is an acting thing, because the actor who plays him is just kind of like, I don't know. Anyway, so that is all I had for The Great Outdoors. It's a fun comedy. I'd recommend watching it.
Yeah.
Should we delve into the other storyline that's going on that we have thought about? Do you think people are going to think we're totally crazy?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. People are just going to think we're totally nuts. So yeah, which we are, but that's how things are run here at Film Therapy.
Yep.
It's therapy for a reason.
Yep.
Two psychos giving you therapy. Psycho 2.
Love it. That's that should be our tagline now. Two psychos giving you therapy.
Parentheses, go watch Psycho 2.
Parentheses, Psycho 2.
When did Psycho 2 come out? 1986, I think. 1988. They could have put Lucy Deakins in Psycho 2.
Oh, dang. It would have been perfect. Perfect timing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. 1983.
Oh, so a little bit before.
Psycho 3 was 1986. So she could have been in Psycho 3. It would have made Psycho 3 better.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that's such an... Psycho 3 is like one of the most interesting movies ever, because it has things that are like I genuinely like really love, and then there's things where I'm like, what the hell is this?
I know. Well, which one is that again? Is that the one with the girl who's like at the diner?
No, that's the second. Well, yeah, the second one is the girl at the diner, and then she and Norman become friends. And then the third one is the woman that looks like the Janet Leigh from the first movie.
Oh, okay.
And then there's that like one scummy guy that's also in the motel and has the lampshade sex scene.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
That guy's awful.
That guy.
But then Norman and this other woman start to have like this like connection.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so during her whirlwind summer romance with Buck, she learns from her mom and her stepdad they're relocating to Africa on the first half of the next year for business, and Millie and Ted are both invited. Lewis can't go because he's attending a summer program that's required by his school because he's going into junior high.
Yep.
So
yep. So he's staying with Grandma.
Yes. Unfortunately, we don't get Lewis in the third movie. We get Ted. So Millie is like not sure if she wants to go because why would she want to go on a trip with just Ted, even though it's Africa? So as part of that, her stepdad Earl takes her and Ted, and Lewis comes too, and he takes them like all on like hunting lessons and more like outdoorsy type things, so they can prepare for their trip a little more.
And Millie's already experienced, so she excels.
Yeah, of course she excels. It's
of
like
course.
it's like in Silence of the Lambs when we see Clarice like at the shooting range and she's just like automatically like really good at it.
Yep.
Is that a scene in that movie?
It's just
Am I
natural.
thinking of the right movie?
Well, she's in the beginning. She like does the obstacle course like, super good.
Yeah. Let's go with that. Buck doesn't show up for their date, and then Millie finds out that her family is going to Africa. Most of her family. And then the next day, Buck tries reaching out to her a couple times, but she doesn't want to really speak to him because she's upset that he bailed on her. So then she goes home and she has a discussion with Lewis while it's sitting in her room while it's raining outside, which rhymes with the scene in the first film where she goes to Lewis's room when he's like really despondent and it's raining outside. Mm-hmm. Except now it's reversed. Mm-hmm. So then she and Lewis are like, Lewis is like just giving her a pep talk about things, and he's like look, like you're probably never gonna see this guy again, and you're gonna regret it if you don't like make things up with him, so you might as well just go and find him and do that. And then he's also like, I'm not gonna, even though I can't go to Africa with you, like I still think you should go because it's like a once in a lifetime kind of trip.
Yeah.
And then reading the direct sentence here, I put that even though it's hard without Eric, she still has to live her life. So
yeah.
Lewis coming in with the message of the movie. And then in the movie that we get, he then the next morning she goes and talks to Buck and they make up. But in our version, she takes Lewis's words to heart right away and goes in and shoots the bear.
Yeah.
That is the our story for the great outdoors, which leads right into Cheetah. Which, to be honest, like I know we're just giving ourselves a pat on the back here, but I actually think that's not. I was gonna say we could ask our listeners what they think, but I'm like, I don't want to do that because if this is awful, it
just
might be
please,
really bad.
Just give us this. Just give us this one thing.
Yeah, but I honestly don't think like we took 3 movies that have nothing to do with each other and we're like, hey, these actually kind of connect.
I think it works.
It does. Oh, just you wait, dear listeners, until we get to the next movie.
Yes.
Which we are going to right now, I believe. Yeah.
Yep.
So Cheetah was released in 1989 by Walt Disney Pictures, and it begins with the famous 1980, late 80s, early 90s Disney logo, which is one of the greatest things to ever see, you've ever seen.
Is it?
You don't think so?
I don't know. I guess it's nostalgic.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
It's like that logo's great, and then the orange one is pretty cool. Nothing against the new one, like the one they've done since like 2007 or 8. Like that one's fine.
Yeah.
But just the fanfare of the 90s one and just how simple it is, like it's great.
Okay.
I guess let me say it this way, because this is what I wrote down. There's nothing like that. There's nothing like that late 80s / early 90s Disney logo.
Yeah, agreed.
So when they released this film in theaters, they played the short film Mickey and the Seal before this movie, which is kind of like, what Pixar does or the Warner Brothers movies do with the Looney Tunes cartoons, except this was a reissue of an older short.
Okay.
And yes, I have seen Mickey and the Seal before. No, I didn't watch it just for this episode, but I saw it like on when I was a kid.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I don't think I've seen it.
I think my favorite there was this VHS like tape, and it had like 6 or 7 Mickey cartoons on it, and that was one of them. So
Oh, okay.
I remember it not being my favorite one, but I remember it still being like pretty solid.
You want to link it?
It's on Disney Plus, I'd wager.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure if it's not on Disney Plus, I don't know why. I think they have every Mickey cartoon on there, even the racist
Wow.
ones.
Oh, wow.
So this movie is loosely based on the novel The Cheetahs by Alan Caillou, and I have not been able to find a copy of that book anywhere. Also, it's as elusive as the There Goes My Baby movie. Evidently. So this one's based on a book, which we totally disregarded for our synopsis.
Sorry, book.
Sorry. What if Ted is just in addition to the movie? Like, what if he wasn't in the book at all? What if it's just Lucy and Morogo and some other kid? And then they're like, nah, we can't do this other kid. We gotta bring in Ted.
We gotta bring in Ted. It's gonna make the movie. Probably. Well, why isn't that book available anywhere?
I don't know. I just have not been able to find it.
That's weird.
So other movies in the similar Cheetah genre include the movie Duma from 2005 and
Yes.
the Born Free movie series, which there's like 4 or 5 of those movies.
I know I've seen Duma.
Is it any good?
I don't remember. I just know, like, I'm pretty sure I had both of them because, like I said, I was obsessed with all things big cat related.
Is Duma a sequel to Cheetah somehow?
I think it's kind of like the same story.
Oh, so it's one of those sequels where it's like the same story and none of the same cast, but they call it Part 2 just to get grandparents to buy it. It's like one of those.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So Zan lives on a ranch with his mother and father, and they stumble upon a baby cheetah in the afternoon, and they start to take care of it. And then I think, yeah, Zan must learn the hard lesson that not all animals are meant to be domesticated. Maybe it ends up killing one of them.
That'd be more interesting.
Because that's what happens generally when you try to domesticate wild animals. It's a
Grizzly Man.
dangerous thing, people. Don't go messing around with that stuff.
Just watch Grizzly Man, you'll understand.
Oh, gosh. Or have you ever heard of that chimp story?
You mean like the one in Nope?
Oh my gosh. But yeah, kind of like that. Basically.
That was so horrifying.
Let me...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so like this woman had a chimp and she had him for like 20 years or something, and then one day just like went crazy and attacked her, and her friend ended up like killing her friend and mauled his owner like crazy. It's just scary.
Oh man.
And even though you think you have like this bond with this animal that is inherently just wild and wild at heart, that it can just like snap and go back into its instinct and hurt you. So it's scary stuff.
That's why this is a Disney film, because that wouldn't happen in a Disney
Yeah,
Or
correct.
or at least I don't think it would happen in a Disney movie.
Probably not.
The parents of the animal might die. The animal might go through hardship. The characters might lose somebody or something. One of the characters might bite into a poison apple and go into a coma, or touch a spindle and go into a coma, or be locked in their room and leave behind a glass slipper, etc. Anyway,
Anyway.
this movie has one of your favorite movie taglines ever,
What is it?
which is, they taught him how to play video games. He taught them how to survive. Which is like the best movie tagline of all time.
It's like, what? No, first of all, none of that is relevant.
It's not about, it's like one scene.
It's not about, I mean, it's kind of about the kids like learning about each other's cultures, but it's mostly about the cheetah. So yeah. I don't know. Like, it sounds like they're saying he, as in the cheetah, taught them how to survive, which kind of makes sense in that context. But then it's like, well, they taught him how to play video games, and you're like, oh, a cheetah's gonna play video games? Okay, that sounds interesting.
It's like the 80s, so imagine just a cheetah with its paw and like an Atari controller.
Oh, dude, I went to a thrift store, or a vintage store around here, and we got to play like the original Pong game.
That is awesome.
It was so fun.
That's awesome.
Anyway.
The
caffeine's hitting.
Perfect. I need some caffeine. So one thing. I think I just want to read you the next two things I wrote down because I think this will sum up the movie in 30 seconds.
Awesome.
Morogo is the best. Morogo is the reason why Millie and Ted don't die like 10 times.
Yeah.
And then under that I just put Ted sucks.
Ted sucks. The end.
And then under that I put hey Ted, where's the corkscrew?
Ah, yes.
Like when you wrote that down, I just thought that was like the funniest thing.
Bring it back to Camp Nightwing. No. Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah, camp something.
Camp Crystal Lake.
Where's the corkscrew?
Hey Ted. Which one is that? That's like.
I think that's Crispin Glover.
Yeah. Crispy Glovies.
Crispin Glover.
Crispy Glovies.
And I think Crispin Glover and Corey Feldman, they're in the same movie, right? Is that the same one where it's like Corey Feldman shaves his head?
Oh God.
I think that one is the first final chapter.
Okay, yeah.
You know, the first final chapter.
The first one, because we can't just end there.
No. If they'd had, that would have been a much easier marathon to do.
Oh my God, for sure.
Although I guess our favorite ones wouldn't have been made because there was like part 6 and 7, so they should have just stopped after the one you really liked with the girl with telekinetic powers.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Because then after that is the one where he's on the boat, but it's called Jason Goes to Manhattan, but he's not in Manhattan until like the last 15 minutes of the movie.
He's just mostly on a boat.
The best part is when he kicks over the guy's radio.
Oh, best part. No. The best part is when he kicks the guy's head off.
Yeah, and it just goes flying into the dumpster. This guy is literally punching him for like 3 minutes, and it just goes on forever. And then Jason takes one punch, and the guy's head just goes clean off and rolls down the side of the building, and like goes into a dumpster like a basketball.
Like perfect. Yep.
It's the best moment in cinematic history of 1988, 89, whenever that movie came out. But anyway, in Cheetah, there's this one guy that's like a game warden, and he reminds me of the guy in Jurassic Park that's basically the same character. You know what I mean? Like that guy in Jurassic Park that's like hunting the raptors, and he's got the gun, and he's like that the guy in that movie is really cool. I couldn't tell you a thing about the guy in this movie.
He's in it for the money, not the science.
He got some corporate sponsors.
Exactly.
I also told Emily she needs to watch Twister because she has not seen Twister.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I don't know what it's gonna be like her seeing that for the first time as an adult, because like I saw it when I was like a really young lad. But... Right.
Okay, so Cheetah, we've got the synopsis of Millie and Ted. They're in Africa with their parents for like they're doing some research work, and they're mad because their parents won't let them like go out and explore. So of course, what do? They go out and explore by themselves, and then they come across a local kid named Morogo, and he teaches them about the ways of the wildlife and the grassy plains of Africa and shows them, like, introduces them to his family and his village and everything. He's super great.
And then they show him how to play Atari.
And yeah, they corrupt his natural mind into the ways of
They do.
the future. And then Morogo becomes addicted to violent video games and goes on a rampage. No, just kidding. So they come across a baby cheetah, and they take it. Morogo discovers that the cheetah's mother has died. They don't show that or anything, though.
No.
And
They have no problem showing it in Lion King, though.
yeah, gosh dang.
From one Hakuna Matata to another.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they say Hakuna Matata. So they take the cheetah back home, and their parents are like, what the heck? Are you serious? What are you doing? And then, wait a minute. Oh, just kidding. Okay, so I went to Crispin Glover on IMDb, and I was looking at his...
I love that you just paused in the middle of that to be like, wait, Crispin Glover? I'm like, where was he?
I was looking at his movies, and it said Twister, but it's a different Twister.
Ah.
So he's in a Twister from 1989.
Isn't that the one that you and Noah watched?
With Harry Dean Stanton. Stop it.
Yo!
Oh my gosh. No, Noah knows the movie Night of the Twisters.
Night of the Okay.
This one is still just called Twister, and it came out before the other Twister.
Is anybody else in it that we know? So Crispin Glover's in it with Harry Dean Stanton.
Yep.
What year was it? 1989. Same year as Cheetah.
Tim Robbins is in it.
Oh, I love Tim Robbins.
That's about all I see. Anyway. Okay, so... so they have the baby cheetah. They raise it, and all of a sudden, in like 10 minutes, it goes from being a baby to an adult, and they've only been there 6 months, and it's time for them to go home, and they don't know what to do with the cheetah. So they're walking around town, and they've got these antagonists who want to take the cheetah so they can race it against greyhounds and then bet against the cheetah. So people think they were crazy, but cheetahs don't have endurance like greyhounds, so the greyhounds would end up winning the race, blah, 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 blah. And then there's also somebody who wants to skin it, and basically it's them trying to make sure Duma doesn't get captured by these people. Well, she does, and then they have to go save her. But then at the end of the movie, they still have to leave and go back home to California, and they have to leave Duma there, and they have to teach her how to be a wild cheetah and let her go. So it's very sad at the end. They just watch her go off into the wild and remember all the good times they had with her.
Yeah, they're like, just get out of here, you stupid, dumb animal. It's just like that scene in SpongeBob where he's doing the same thing with his seahorse, except instead it's Patrick, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
It's like it's like that should be a TikTok, like two scenes with the same energy.
Oh my gosh, yes, make it.
Okay. I'm actually kind of proud that I thought. I mean, obviously it's like obvious, but I'm just glad I thought of that, because I'm like, yeah, that should be a TikTok. But only like 3 people would understand what the first clip is from.
I don't know. I think. Oh wait, what you mean, like the cheetah one?
Or the cheetah one, yeah. Do you think anybody else has seen this movie other than?
I hope other people have seen this movie. I want to know.
Yeah, if you've seen Cheetah, let us know.
I guess we can look on Letterboxd.
Yeah, maybe we got more people to watch it.
Yeah, it's on to Plus, so easily accessible for people. What are your thoughts on the movie as a whole? Like, do you think it's exciting? Do you think how is it for you?
I think I will tell you exactly what I think.
Okay.
When we come back.
Okay.
This video is sponsored today by Liberty Mutual.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
The most constant and obnoxious ads on YouTube.
And Hulu.
And Hulu.
And Peacock.
Actually, this video is sponsored by CuriosityStream. Enjoy many great documentaries today. Use our code FilmTherapy2027 and you can get 15% off your annual plan. Which doesn't make any sense because CuriosityStream is like cheap as hell anyway. Thankfully.
I don't have that. Do you?
Yes, I do.
Oh.
I have it bundled with Nebula.
Nebula? What's that?
Nebula is how do I describe Nebula? It's basically like video essays and courses and stuff that are like on YouTube but better.
Oh, okay.
There's this guy on YouTube who does a lot of film analysis and narrative structure, and his name is Patrick H. Willems. And he releases all his videos on YouTube and on Nebula. And they're always extended on Nebula. And he also put out a feature film called Night of the Coconut on Nebula. So that was great.
Oh, okay.
And you often see his parents in his videos, and his parents are like the greatest people ever.
Oh,
just saying. Anyway,
we're not sponsored.
No, not at all. Okay, what do I think of Cheetah? Welcome back to Film Therapy. We were just about to hear my thoughts on Cheetah. I tried to be a narrator, but I'm like, wait, I can't use my voice and refer to myself in the third person because that's weird. yeah, that's where I draw the line. We're headcanoning these movies, and I'm like, oh yeah. Anyway, yeah. So, I think there's fun to be had in Cheetah. I think it is a fun, serviceable movie. I don't think there's a lot of depth to it. But that doesn't necessarily matter because not every movie has to have depth. I think it's just like a fun, like average movie. But I don't think it's like the best thing, and I don't think it's the worst thing. It's just kind of like straight down the line.
Yeah.
I think a big part of that is because Ted's in the whole movie. If he was in it for 5 minutes, the movie would be better. Or if he just wasn't in it at all.
Ted's just annoying. He asks obvious questions and annoys Millie, and I just don't need him.
No. And like no disrespect to the actor, we're just giving crap to the character, like to the writing.
Yeah.
What do you think of Cheetah?
Well, coming from a nostalgia perspective, I like it. I love movies with animals. Mm-hmm. And the whole story of them like finding and raising a cheetah. That was my dream as a kid to like do something like that. And still is low key. But yeah, I mean the movie as a whole, I wish it would spend more time with like them raising the cheetah rather than the whole heist thing at the end, because I'm not into that whole action adventure type genre. Mm-hmm. So I find that part like not as interesting as what it was when they first arrived to Africa and they're exploring everything with Morogo and everything. Like I like that a lot better.
Right, because 10 minutes go by and Ted's like, we've been here 6 months, and it's like,
yep,
that's a pacing issue.
Right. Yeah, it kind of just felt a little off.
One thing I find really creepy is when the one bad guy just goes into Ted's room and like searches it.
Yeah.
And then Ted comes in the room and he's just behind the door. Like that's scary.
Oh, so scary.
I really like the vibe of the music of the movie a lot.
Mm-hmm.
How chill it is. The part when they do trek across the wilderness they trek across the lands, and when they find Duma and they find out what the bad guys are doing. Morogo just has this one line. I just wrote this down. He just has this line that sounded really cool. He's like, "Let's wait for night, then we'll go in and look for Duma." And I'm like, I think it was just like the way he said it or something. But I'm just like, that's cool.
Good stuff, Morogo.
Yeah.
Sound like a hero.
Yeah. Well, he is the hero.
He is the hero.
They would have died if he hadn't found him.
He's underrated for sure.
And then the part when they're in the police car, and Millie comes up with the idea to like she's like I gotta go to the bathroom, and then she elbows Ted to get him to be like, yeah, me too. And then he elbows Morogo, and Morogo just elbows him back. Like that was kind of adorable.
Yeah, that's cute.
But you could make a drinking game out of every time they say the word cheetah,
Oh,
which because that's
dang.
the title.
That would be dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't survive, but you could do it. And then I love that the guy who's like driving the sheep, he's got like a truck and he's got just like a bunch of sheep in the back.
Mm-hmm.
That guy was really chill. He's like, oh you kids are running from the police. It's all good.
Yeah, hop in. No worries.
He's like he's like I got into some scrapes myself, and I'm like, prequel movie when?
Okay, let's make one of those now.
Yeah, that's the next movie we make.
Do we know his name? I don't think so.
No, I didn't write it down. Sorry.
No worries.
We'll watch the movie again and figure it out.
Sheep Driver. Prequel.
Sheep Driver.
We'll just call it Sheep
the
Driver.
movie. You want to make it really dark, you can call it Sean the Sheep Driver.
Sean the Sheep Driver.
You know, because Sean the Sheep.
Yeah.
So
Sean the Sheep.
Sean the Sheep Driver.
Or something.
Yeah. And then the part that so first of all, the bad guy's plan has a lot of steps.
It does. It's kind of complicated plan.
It's kind of like overly complicated. They're like oh we're gonna race the cheetah and we're gonna bet on her losing, but then this one guy also wants to like kill her, and then I'm just like, wait, so you're betting on the cheetah? So like what like?
Yeah. Like, I guess the enticing thing of it is that she's already trained, so that's going to be way easier for him. And then instead of like trying to capture a cheetah himself and then trying to train it and then doing it, so it's like already a few steps ahead of schedule for this plan. But then it's like, where are you going? Where are you going with the greyhound races? Like, how are you going to do that? Or do they even allow cheetahs in the greyhound race? Just a lot of logistics that, could go wrong with this whole plan.
You stole a cheetah, so if your plan fails, I guess you don't have much to lose.
Yeah.
And then at the end, the only one that gets arrested is the one that is the poacher that killed Duma's mother. Like the other two, we never see them get like arrested or anything. Like they just lose all their money.
Huh. Well.
Like Duma like chases down like the one that killed her mom, and
yeah,
and the movie would have been better if she just killed him. But then the policeman comes and he's like, we've been looking for you for a long time. And then the other two, we just never see what happens. Like we just know they lose the race and they probably lose like a lot of money that they don't have. So
yeah, doesn't make. I mean, not they didn't really get like the consequence.
That just kind of didn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
In Cheetah, the plot is basically the same, except for the fact that Eric is the cheetah. which I think might be the best idea we've ever had.
Big reveal. Eric is the cheetah. Did you see it coming? Did you see it?
Did you figure it out?
Did you figure it out?
Yeah. So when they get there, Millie starts having Lynchian type dreams of Eric, kind of the same style of dream, but except they're more frequent. And she starts to wonder, like, okay, these dreams are really weird. Is there some kind of like does this have anything to do with Eric? Because there was never really resolution over what happened to Eric. And then she tries talking to Ted about it, but Ted being the smart man that he is, is like no, like that's weird. Like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
So then Millie's like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna go talk to Morogo about this. And Morogo's like the elements of the circle of life can be very strange, and if she believes in it hard enough, Eric could be talking to her. Maybe Eric could even be Duma.
Mm-hmm.
And then so even though Millie feels silly about it, she ends up like one time she's got time by herself with Duma, and then she tries asking Duma about Eric, but because Duma is a cheetah, she doesn't get any kind of verbal response, or even like any kind of response.
Right.
Which actually, if that's during those 6 months, that would make that section feel a lot less like on fast speed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then they go on their journey to save Duma, and then the bad guy they end up finding Duma, but the bad guys to get Duma out of the cage and instead lock Ted and Millie in the cage. And this time when Millie calls for Eric, Duma looks back. So, and Ted obviously is still skeptical about it. But he still wants to help his sister out, because even though she's crazy, she's still his sister. And like the idea of her finding like peace in all of this, because this was going on like when she met Ted, was that like she was struggling with this guy. So then Ted's like okay, like whatever helps you get over him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And maybe there's actually like genuine bonding over that, or maybe Ted is just still Ted. You can decide that however you want.
Ted's not very deep, so I don't know. I think he's just like, all right, yeah, sure.
Yeah, Ted's not very deep. Yeah. So then at the end of the movie, when she's saying goodbye to Duma, it's like she's saying goodbye to Eric again.
Right. So it's extra hard.
Yeah. And then you play the song from the first movie again.
Yeah.
Over the credits.
Please. Over the credits.
And here's the thing. Try watching this movie with the knowledge. I can't even do it.
Even though Duma is a girl cheetah, and maybe they misgendered. You never know. And even if she was a girl cheetah, like that's how reincarnation works. It doesn't matter about gender, so it's still Eric inside.
Which makes it make even more sense. Like it gives this extra layer to her wanting to save her cheetah, because it's also Eric, or it could be Eric.
It's also the love of her life, her first love.
Well, even so, I kind of like the idea that like we basically confirmed it, but like in our heads, it's kind of like how The Boy Who Could Fly doesn't really confirm about Eric's flight until like the end,
right?
And like it kind of leaves you guessing. So then that was I think that was kind of our idea with, and maybe I'm just making this up, but that was kind of our idea when writing this out, was like, okay, we got to bring that kind of plot motion back. Mm-hmm. And even by the end of the movie, it doesn't really even matter if Eric is the Cheetah. What matters is that it's closure for Millie, and she can move on with her life.
Right. I think it works.
And maybe if Buck comes back next year, then they can reunite.
Imagine her telling the story of Eric and Cheetah to Buck. He's probably just going to be like, oh, okay. All right, well, you're hot, so I don't really care, but cool.
I think Buck might be a little deeper than Ted.
Yeah, probably a little bit deeper.
Yeah. Also, he's going to have a year of his own growth going on, so.
Oh, that's true. He could have a lot of experiences in 1 year.
What if that's the side story? Is that he has a similar experience?
Yeah. Oh my gosh! And then they bond over their reincarnation stories.
Yes.
That'd be wild.
And she would fit in with that family fairly well, because his dad is John Candy.
Oh. So. Yeah.
And Buck's brother is kind of like Lewis. So. Mm-hmm. And obviously when she goes home, she would probably tell Lewis this story, and Lewis would be like, yeah, okay, cool.
Imagine. I bet he would be so pissed that he missed out.
Yeah, he'd be like, man, you got to see Eric in Africa?
Yeah, what? And I was here learning about dumb school stuff.
That's great.
Poor Lewis.
We should write the fourth part now. That's what happens in that.
Yeah, they reunite, and then Lewis gets pissed.
Yeah. Anyway, so that is the grand story that we wrote years ago. We took 3 random movies with one actress and put them together. I mean, it's the best trilogy ever made, and anyone who doesn't agree is probably right.
Is stinky poo poo.
Yeah, good use of the G-rated terms here. Is this movie G or is it PG? I don't know.
I think it's G.
Oh, well, darn.
Darn.
That darn cat.
So yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this. Thank you for bearing with us and sticking with us through this whole web of Lucy Deakins. Lucy, if you're out there, we love you. We'd love to have you on the podcast. I hope you read our story that we sent to your law office.
And if not, you just heard it, so you can hear it again.
Yep.
And yeah, thank you for bearing with us while we lose our sanity collectively.
It's a fun time.
It's a fun time. It's therapy.
Yes. What else are we supposed to do?
Well, the thing that I just really take away from this is it's just that like we had been friends for a little bit before this, but this was like the first like major thing that we're gonna commit to this insane project just for our benefit. And so like that alone makes it really like special in that way.
Yeah, I agree.
Is there anything that you watched this week?
Oh, there was one thing that I watched. Actually, we didn't do our ones that we watched like 2 weeks ago, right? So I've only watched 2 movies, but
okay.
I'll just tell you both about those. I watched the movie Close, which was nominated for Best Foreign Film. It was French, and it was about 2 like 13-year-old boys who were best friends, and they go to school together at like a different like middle school, so it's like a bunch of new kids, but they only know each other, so they're really close, hence the title. And then some things start happening and it kind of tears their relationship apart. And I don't know, I don't want to spoil it, but it wasn't my thing. It was too sad. Didn't like watching it. Wasn't enjoyable. Put me in a funk for the rest of the night until I got to work. And if I would have known like what it was about, I wouldn't have watched it. Which I just sometimes go in blind with these movies that come to the Independent Picture House, because I know like I kind of want to expose myself to some of those movies that I wouldn't normally watch, but I've had more bad experiences than good ones. But I will continue to go and support my local theater because I love it. And I did see like the Banshees of Inisherin there, and that was good. That was probably my favorite. But then recently I saw The Whale too, and I didn't like The Whale. Sorry.
Is it because it was sad?
It was just kind of another miserable movie. Like, and it was based on a play, so it just like takes place in one room for 2 hours, and it was just a lot of, and with only like 4 characters, and it's just a lot of depression. So that also wasn't my cup of tea.
No, I don't blame you.
But then the other movie I watched was on Amazon Prime. It was called The Catcher Was a Spy. It's from 2018, I think, with Paul Rudd.
Oh, what's that about?
It's about, get this, in World War II.
Oh boy.
There was like a group of people who were in sports who were recruited for the army to do like special operations projects. So like this catcher so Paul Rudd plays this baseball catcher called his name is Moberg, and he had a really long career in baseball. Was a catcher for the New York Robins. I'm not sure what that is, and the White Sox. And then he was just super smart, and he knew like 8 languages.
Wow.
And he wanted to do something more. He was about to retire from baseball, and he didn't want to like go into coaching. He just wanted to keep being impactful. So he sought out people that he knew were involved in the army, and became a spy for us during World War II. And his mission was to assassinate the guy who was making the atom bomb, Heisenberg.
That sounds so fascinating. And you said it starred Paul Rudd?
Yeah, Paul Rudd. I was like, is this real? And it is real.
Is it a drama or a comedy? Or...
Yeah, drama.
What is it called?
Werner Heisenberg is the physicist who was attempting to build the bomb. It's called The Catcher Was a Spy, kind of like The Catcher in the Rye, but it's a stupid title.
Like
I hate the title.
In the Rye.
It sounds like it would be a comedy, like the title. And if you like, you see Paul Rudd's and it's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be like a spoof on something.
So did you like it, or was it not very good?
Yeah, no, I liked it a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, the cinematography was really good, but that was the one where they had the sex scene and we're just like, all right. What did you watch?
Other than To Catch a Thief, which I already mentioned, that was the only thing I watched, and I really really liked it.
Good. Where did you watch it?
Amazon Prime.
Okay. Oh yeah,
it's
that's
a
right.
1955 Alfred Hitchcock movie. So.
Haha. So we actually decided to put these 2 episodes all in one. So you're going to be getting the original Lucy trilogy, as well as the following 3 movies that Lucy Deakins is credited in on IMDb. So we're going to dive into those movies now. So to recap, we watched every movie with Lucy Deakins in it that she is credited on IMDb. So we had first watched the 3 of part 1 and 2 of episode 60. Great, love them. And then we decided to watch the other not so known movies with her in them. And that is Little Nikita, There Goes My Baby, and A Mother's Gift. They're all very different. Lucy is in
all of them.
She's in all of them. She's barely in Little Nikita, but that's starring River Phoenix.
And Sidney Poitier.
Yeah. What'd you think of that one?
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
No, it was boring. Sorry, River. I still love you.
Sorry, River.
Seriously though, like River Phoenix was like one of the best like young actors like ever. You know, like Last Crusade, Stand By Me. I've heard Mosquito Coast is really good too. If you don't know, River Phoenix was in this movie called Mosquito Coast, where he played Harrison Ford's son, and that was how he got cast as the younger Indy in Last Crusade.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Because Last Crusade has the prologue of River Phoenix like as a Boy Scout, like running through the train and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Should we do all of Indiana Jones before the new one too?
Probably. Oh God.
I will watch all of the young Indiana Jones movies as well in preparation, because there's a lot of them, and then I will get the whole journey.
How many are there?
Arc. I think 20 something. I think like 20.
Oh no.
22. Because when they put the movies out on tape, they put the original Indiana Jones trilogy. They also put some of the young Indiana Jones movies on tape. And then so in the chronologically, like Temple of Doom is 23 and Raiders of the Lost Ark is 24 and so on.
Oh my.
So this new one is.
So when did the first ones come out?
The first one.
The first Indiana Jones is
like with Harrison Ford. They all came out in the 80s.
No, like the young ones.
Oh, I think sometime in like the mid 90s, because it started off as a series, and then I think the series got canceled or something because it actually had like a high production budget, and George Lucas was super involved and stuff like that, and then they released them all as movies when they put them to VHS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the show came out from 92 to 96, and then in 1998, yeah, 1996, and then 99 they released some of them on tape as like, because some of them were like feature length episodes, and some of them like they took a couple episodes that connected and made a film out of it. So now on VHS and then they put out some of them on VHS as like movies in the chronological order, and then they counted the original movies as like 23, 24, 25, and then when they put the young Indiana Jones series on DVD, they put them as the 22 movies. So
wow, I had no idea.
yeah, so the new one, I believe it's called Dial of Destiny, the one that comes out this year, is the 27th Indiana Jones film.
Oh my goodness.
It's just the 5th one with Harrison. Actually, Harrison Ford is in one of the young Indiana Jones movies because they flash forward to him as Indiana Jones. So he's played Indy.
Oh, really? That's cool.
At least 6 times. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do before Dial of Destiny.
Nice. All right, sounds good.
I love that you're down. It's funny because Lucy said that she got the young Indiana Jones DVD movie sets for Christmas. So her plan is to watch all the chronological order of all of them. And I'm like, that's a great idea. That doesn't sound very time consuming. I also want to do that.
Do you have them?
No, I don't, but I found them on YouTube.
Oh, perfect.
I know, and I have the main features, like the Harrison Ford ones.
Yeah.
Because,
I have not seen those in a very long time. That'd be fun to rewatch.
I love all of it. Well, not Crystal Skull, but I love the original trilogy, all 3 of them, very, very much. And to be clear, I don't think Crystal Skull is bad. I just don't think it holds a candle to the other 3 movies. That's the one with Shia LaBeouf in it.
I watched that one before I saw any of the originals. Oopsie.
Well, it's okay because you started off with the okay one, and then you got to go into the great ones.
That's true.
And I guess I've seen 3 of the young Indiana Jones movies, but obviously I don't remember them, so I would have to rewatch them. So yeah.
Okay, so
were you gonna ask
that'll
me?
be fun.
Sorry, I thought you were gonna say who plays him.
Yes, it was.
Okay, I have to look up
who plays young Indiana.
It changes. I have to look up one of the actors' names. Okay, yeah. So Corey Carrier plays Indiana Jones for the first 5 movies, and then Sean Patrick Flannery plays him from movie 6 to movie 22, which is the last one that he was in, and then obviously from 23 onward, which is the original films, it's Harrison Ford. And the one that Harrison Ford cameos in is the 20th Young Indy movie.
Oh, okay.
Fun fact, Harrison Ford plays Indiana Jones in 6 movies. Didn't know that. And if you didn't know that, there you go.
Did not know that at all. Did not know young Indiana Jones was a thing.
And yes, there's also obviously River Phoenix in the beginning of Last Crusade. And I think that takes place... I'm going to put on my film detail cap on, but I think that probably takes place between when they switch actors in the young Indy movies, because from what I remember, the first one is like him and he's like 9 years old or something, and then when River Phoenix plays him, he's like like almost a teenager. And then the one I saw with Sean Patrick, he is like a young adult. So I think it's like you get the whole trajectory of his life.
Like a little bit of aging.
Mm-hmm. Which is why they switched.
Guess who else is in young Indiana Jones?
Lucy Deakins.
Oh, there's a ton of people. No, Jay Underwood.
Oh, that's awesome.
I wonder who he plays. Oh, no, he plays Ernest Hemingway. I just saw it.
That's awesome. I know that Catherine Zeta-Jones is in one of them also.
Yes, I see her. Her character's name is Maya.
Oh, Jay Underwood is in 3 different movies of that series. That's so cool. Daniel Craig is in one. Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
Let's see. Vanessa Redgrave, Elizabeth Hurley, Timothy Spall. Peter Pettigrew. Anne Heche. Wait a minute. Paul Freeman is in one of them. Who does he play? Because he's Belloc in Raiders of the Lost Ark. So does he play Belloc in Young Indiana Jones? That'd be really, because in Raiders he's like the guy that's like Indy's inverse. He's like the archaeologist that's like working for the Nazis. No, he plays someone named Frederick Sellis. who was a real person. He was a British explorer. Something to do with that.
Okay.
But my headcanon is that he's the same character, because how can you not?
Right.
Let's see. Jeffrey Wright is in it. I thought it said Michael Keaton. It's Michael Kitchen. Damn it. I mean, no disrespect, but also Michael Keaton. Kevin McNally. That's Gibbs from Pirates of the Caribbean. Ian McDiarmid. He's the Emperor in Star Wars. Max von Sydow, who is in The Exorcist and the 80s Dune. Keith David, the most important kid in America.
Look at all of these people.
Obviously Jay Underwood. Michael Goff, who plays Alfred in Batman, who might be my favorite Batman Alfred. Just saying. I love Michael Goff. He's Alfred in the Burton and Schumacher movies. I guess just when I think of Alfred, that's who I think of, because those are the Batman movies I saw first.
Yeah.
But no disrespect to Michael Caine, because Michael Caine is also great as Alfred.
Love.
There's something I once read, but I have to see if I have to find it on this Wikipedia page here. So when they put them on VHS in the 90s, when they put the young indie movies and the original movies, they didn't put all 22 movies on tape. They just put out like a random assortment of half of them, because they wanted to see if they would sell well, and they didn't. So if you get them all on VHS, you only get you can't have a complete VHS collection. Unless you spent the time to make your own VHS tapes, which I have considered but have not done, because that sounds way too time consuming.
Wow.
But then when they put them on DVD, they put them all on DVD in like box sets and stuff. And I'm like, what you could do is you could make all the DVDs match, because that'd be a bit easier to do, because I wouldn't have to transfer the movies to VHS.
Definitely.
Then the other thing was, the series got canceled, and there were episodes that George Lucas had intended to make, but they didn't go into production. And one of them involved Indy meeting Marian's dad while he was looking for the Ark of the Covenant, which obviously would have tied into Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Interesting.
And let's see, there's one where Indy was going to meet Gandhi. And because I think that's what a lot of the show is like Indy running into historical figures and stuff, kind of like Forrest Gump.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like from the cast.
And then do you remember how I said that the guy who plays Belloc is in the show, but he's not Belloc?
Yeah.
So there was going to be 2 episodes where Indy and Belloc meet and like become friends and like go on adventures, which would have been really cool, because then that would have made Raiders even better, which doesn't seem very possible, but I guess so. And then one of those episodes would have been Belloc stealing a crystal skull and selling it, which also would have connected to the 4th movie. I mean, I don't know if it's the same crystal skull, but like, how funny would that be?
That'd be crazy.
And there was obviously more listed, but I just found the ones I cared about.
So this is our podcast about Indiana Jones. Let's just keep going.
Okay, yeah. So Raiders of the Lost Ark was released in 1981. It's directed by Steven Spielberg, and it is quite possibly the greatest action film ever made.
I don't know about that.
You don't know about that? What is better than Raiders of the Lost Ark? What movie has better characters and better screenplay and better directed action?
I think a lot of movies. Let's see, action-wise, my favorite action movies have always been the Bourne series.
Those are good. Those are good.
But not really comparable to Indiana Jones. It's kind of hard to compare those two.
I think my favorite Bourne movie... No, I don't think. I know. My favorite Bourne movie is the first one. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I love the first Bourne movie so much.
Me too. I do too.
Like the scene when the part when they're like in the little car and then they like drive down the stairs, like that's so freaking cool.
Oh, yeah.
And then also for action movies, the Mission Impossible movies are great. I'm so excited for the last 2 to come out.
Dang, there's still 2?
Yeah, because this new one is Dead Reckoning Part 1, and then next year, I think, is Dead Reckoning Part 2.
Oh, my.
And then,
Ay.
then that's going to be the end.
I haven't seen many of those movies.
The first one is great and really underrated. The second one is the one you can the second one is like really weird. The third one is J.J. Abrams. The fourth one is Brad Bird doing live action. He's the director of Iron Giant, Incredibles, and Ratatouille. And then 5 on, it's kind of like Harry Potter, where the first 4 movies are each a different director, and then 5 through 8 is the same director. So 5 through 8 of Mission Impossible is Christopher McQuarrie.
Okay.
And those ones so far are great.
All right, let's get back into Lucy.
Okay, yeah. So Little Nikita is a film starring River Phoenix.
Oh, I watched Little Nikita on Crackle. Haven't been on Crackle in a minute. But it was free, so okay.
I am so glad you said Crackle and not Crack.
I watched it on Crack. Oh yeah, okay, so A Mother's Gift is on YouTube, Pluto TV, Tubi, and also Crackle.
So you watched Little Nikita and A Mother's Gift on Crackle.
I think I watched A Mother's Gift on Tubi and Little Nikita on Crackle. On Crack.
Okay.
And then we could not find There Goes My Baby anywhere. Nowhere. We tried very hard. But luckily, Jake's got a friend.
Who graciously found
Special
it for
friend.
us.
Yes. Actually, I was very close to ordering it on eBay for like $20, but
Me too. Hey.
I'm glad I did not. Maybe we were fighting bids.
Maybe, you know what we should have done? Netflix is closing down their DVD program. We should have just done that if they have it. just
Are they selling those DVDs?
No. I just mean while it's still open, because like this was before they announced they were going to close it. So like we could have just gotten the mail order DVDs from Netflix. And yeah, I don't know
if they have it.
I don't know what they're doing with those DVDs, but I will take all of them or donate most of them. Please don't throw them into a landfill. Please don't do that. Please just donate them to Goodwills or dollar stores or something, because people will fucking buy them. I don't know what these movies are rated. I think was Little Nikita like R or PG-13 or something. One of these movies is rated R. So
I think There Goes My Baby is rated R.
Little Nikita was more violent. Oh yeah, because I wrote this down. I put that life jacket kill was kind of graphic for a PG. So Little Nikita must be PG.
Oh, yeah. Okay, PG.
River Phoenix and Sidney Poitier would again collaborate in the movie Sneakers, which I have not seen.
Have you seen that? No, me either.
And because Lucy Deakins isn't in it, so.
Of course, so why would we?
So why would we watch it? These are the only 6 movies you and I have ever seen. So I think I was just checked out by this point, but the ending kind of confused me, because they take the bad guy across the border, and then he's just like, I might get you someday, and then just walks away. Like that unresolved feeling, like that would just like that would not feel like how would you be able to live with that?
Yeah. Oh, right. Now I remember. I couldn't remember even what this was about. Can I read the synopsis real quick?
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay. Roy Parmenter, Sidney Poitier, is an FBI agent with a long-standing vendetta against a Russian spy named Scuba. Who was played by Richard Lynch. Now, Scuba is blackmailing. Now, Scuba is blackmailing the Soviet government by tracking down and assassinating their sleeper agents in the United States. Parmenter discovers that high school student Jeff Grant, who is River Phoenix, is the son of 2 such agents, which is a total shock to Jeff. Parmenter must try to track Scuba while also protecting the Grants. Okay, yeah, because this guy comes into town. He's making friends with Jeff. Jeff doesn't know his parents are secret agents for Russia. And so then that's an interesting part. But then, the second half is just kind of like meh. But I kind of like the beginning. In the beginning, so Lucy Deakins plays River Phoenix's girlfriend, and she's only in like 2 scenes. One, she's like on the phone, and the other one, they're chilling eating corn dogs or something at the drive-in.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think so. It's just funny because I had corn dogs yesterday.
Me too.
Hey.
Oh my, look at us.
Well, also yesterday the Dune 2 trailer came out, so my psychicness is very high.
Yes, the spice is in the air.
Yes, when Target gets their pumpkin spice back, I'm just gonna, or when Starbucks gets their pumpkin spice back, I'm just gonna, it's gonna be like 2 years ago, but it's gonna be better because, it's just gonna be better.
Yes.
I was really surprised that Lucy was just in one scene. Seems kind of a waste.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that scene when they were at the drive-in, and then when he calls her on the phone, and he is like I don't know what's going on, like we should just run away, and like he's kind of having this like this intense like freak out moment, and she's just like, oh yeah, it's no big deal, I'll just call you tomorrow, just go back to sleep or whatever she says, and I'm just like first of all, help him out. Second of all, if the movie had just switched into they just run away and the movie's just about that, the second half would have been so much more interesting.
I agree.
It's like the movie would just automatically just get so much better.
Imagine them going on a little road trip.
Yes, and then
finding adventures.
And then they come across a cheetah.
Oh snap!
And then the timelines converge. And then there's like a time portal, like
yeah
like something out of Doctor Who or something, and then she just like walks through it, and then it's like Back to the Future 2, where there's like 2 of her walking around, like when there's like 2 like Doc Browns like talking to each other. It's like 2 of her.
Yes.
It's like Millie Michelson is talking to whatever the fuck her name is in this movie, in Little Nikita. See, wouldn't that make it a much better movie?
Mm-hmm.
And also then that way it could tie into the trilogy, and it could be a quadrilogy.
Even more fun.
Well, I mean, we did add a lot of stuff to The Great Outdoors, so we could just add all that to this.
Mm-hmm.
I still say she should have came in and shot that bear though, in The Great Outdoors.
100%.
But as it is, yeah, like you said, like the first part was kind of interesting, like how his parents were agents and he didn't really know. But then and maybe it's because when I watched it on Tubi or whatever, there was a lot of ads, but whenever there's a lot of ads in a movie, like it just kind of feels like watching it on TV, obviously, and like unless you're really into something, it just makes it seem so much more drawn out. So this like 90-minute movie felt like a 2-hour movie or something, and it was just like it's like River Phoenix is like searching around his house for like to find evidence about what his parents are up to, and then it just cuts to fucking like a Liberty Mutual commercial, and I'm like, God damn it!
Every time Liberty Mutual, God damn it! Yeah, it just really takes you out of it. So
and unlike TV, there's no seamless like fade out. It just cuts, and it's so jarring every time. And it's often in
like in the middle of a scene.
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say it's right in the middle of a scene. More psychicness.
Yeah, not. Yeah, it doesn't. None of it makes sense. Like, I'll definitely watch a movie where I think it's like on Peacock or something, where it'll be like, please watch these messages, then enjoy your movie ad-free, and that I can definitely handle.
That's much better.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to the theater, you sit through 20-30 minutes of freaking movie trailers. So, like, watching 5 minutes of Peacock ads, it's fine. You can just leave it on and go do something else. Like, you could go, like, make popcorn and come back. Then you have an ad-free movie.
Yep.
It's much better.
Yep. Love that.
Every streaming service should have that option.
Yeah. Not much to say. What did you rate this one?
I think I gave it like a 2 or a 2.5 on Letterboxd. It started off kind of interesting, and then it just just kind of fell off for me. And it's not just the fact that they underutilize Lucy. Like it was just the story of the movie itself just kind of lost my interest. I gave it 2 stars. So
I realized I have not given it a rating, and I have not put it in my... I've been really bad with Letterboxd lately. So I'm going to write a review now.
Cool. Maddie is writing her magnum opus as we record. I didn't write a review for it. Maybe I should. Maybe I should just take everything I just said, like, and just put it in a Google Doc and just literally post it as it was. Like, I'm talking about like Tubi ads and stuff. Has nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah. Too many ads, 1 star.
Perfect. Well, now I can say when I go to Lucy Deakins' page on Letterboxd, I have seen 100% of the movies, and I feel a little proud of that.
Yes.
Even though there's only 6. There's more Star Wars and Air Bud movies than there are movies that have Lucy Deakins in them.
Ugh, that is tragic.
Yeah. Yeah, so There Goes My Baby was finished in 1990, but it wasn't released until 1994 because Orion was going bankrupt.
Oh.
But now they're back, so.
Really?
Yeah. There a lot of... I actually think all of their catalog got bought or distributed by MGM because it's like Terminator 1 and Silence of the Lambs and this movie. One of these things is not like the other. So, Maddie, what did you think of this? I guess we should summarize the plot first.
Yes.
Which I can do or you can do, whichever works.
Please go ahead.
Okay. So There Goes My Baby is about it's basically a bunch of vignettes of different characters in the 60s. I think it's the 60s. In the 60s. And it's their last day of high school before they go off into their own lives and everything. So like one of them wants to be a singer, one of them is going into the war, one of them is scared about being drafted, and et cetera, et cetera. So it starts off like really like lighthearted and kind of like fun and like, okay, this is just kind of like a Dazed and Confused type of story. And then it gets really heavy. Mm-hmm. There's like riots and like there's like destruction of property.
People die.
And, yeah, people die and like it gets pretty intense. Actually, I was really surprised.
Well, you said so. Lucy's character narrates the movie, but it's not Lucy. It's an older, like a supposedly older version of Lucy. So at the end, it shows like each character that we've seen, and she explains what they go on to do with their lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I just want to know: does that one singer girl get famous?
I will tell you, but I have to look it up.
Okay.
Let's see. So my mistake. It was originally intended to be released in 1991, not 1990.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Okay, yeah. So Lucy and the girl that gets pregnant, they're still best friends, and she's the godmother of her son.
Okay.
The pregnant girl's boyfriend dies in the war, which is kind of sad.
Shit.
Yes, the singing girl, she gets her own rock and roll show, evidently.
Of course.
The one guy that's scared about being drafted, he doesn't die. He gets his own surf shop according to Lucy.
Okay. Cool.
Then one of the other girls like gets married a lot, or gets married a few times and is in and out of rehab, which is also kind of depressing.
Aw.
And then one of the other guys, he's teaching at the he's teaching at UCLA.
Okay.
And then Lucy writes a book about the movie, and it's called There Goes My Baby. So, or Lucy's character.
Did she get to go to Stanford or wherever? Berkeley.
I don't know if the movie says, actually.
What?
I'm just gonna say that she does.
I bet she does.
Yeah. So the girl has the baby, but tells her boyfriend that she's not pregnant. And then they say goodbye, and then he dies. So.
Okay. Oh wow.
The ending is very Sandlot-esque, where it's like,
oh yeah,
where it ends where Lucy's like, this what happens to this character, this what happens to that character, and this is what happens to me, which is how the Sandlot ends. Except this is like a lot more depressing because some of the characters die and some of them are like still having problems, and it's like it's like that doesn't mostly happen in the Sandlot, you know. Like mostly all those kids are still doing fine in the terms of the story of the, you know.
That's good. So the soundtrack was really great, and you had a theory about that.
It's only available on an old DVD that's really expensive and is only in full screen. And I think the reason why it hasn't gotten some kind of remaster, other than not being very well known, is because of all the soundtrack cues, because there's so many. It's like at the Freaks and Geeks level of like they would have to clear so many things to put it out.
Definitely. Like all the 60s hits.
Mm-hmm. Which is actually like that was a big thing when they put Freaks and Geeks out on DVD, was they wanted to they got every single song like to be able to be on the DVD release also. So like which was not easy to do, but it was easier than the Wonder Years because Freaks and Geeks has only one season, whereas for the Wonder Years I think they got like 95% of all the original music for the DVD release.
Wow.
So I think for There Goes My Baby it's probably something similar, like where
that makes sense.
Why it hasn't gotten like a HD streaming or Blu-ray or anything widescreen anywhere.
No widescreen.
No widescreen version of this. And that's not because it's intentional.
Right. I did like that, but yeah, that's okay. It's not on streaming. I don't feel like you need to watch it really. That's why we watched it, so we can tell you about it. And
yeah,
unfortunately, it was the one that had Lucy in it the most, but it was the movie I like the least of all Lucy's movies.
I think of these three, it was the one I liked the most, but that's not saying much.
Really?
Yeah, I liked it more than Little Nikita and A Mother's Gift.
Okay.
Because I think I really liked because like when the movie started, I'm like, okay, like it's basically Dazed and Confused, kind of, you know, it's got that vibe, except it's the 60s, not the 70s.
Yeah.
But then yeah, the movie kind of just gets really serious, and I wasn't really expecting that. And I kind of liked that, but I also was like, no, I wanted like a carefree kind of movie, you know.
Yeah.
I did watch it in 2 sittings, so mostly because I was tired, but also because I'm like, I don't know, but I powered through and finished it.
Same.
Yeah, the best scenes are with Lucy and her friend just talking about things, because those scenes are just great.
Yeah. It was like a good, end of the high school year, transitioning to college type thing, like a Lady Bird vibes of like, we're going to go off to college and never going to see you again, or like, what are you going to do with your life, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I just didn't really like all of the higher stakes stuff like war and protests and riots, and
Yeah.
I just wasn't into that.
Yeah, no, it got kind of too high stakes, and that's okay, but like it kind of felt like the escalation wasn't quite there. It kind of went from 0 to 100 pretty quick.
Yeah, and it's like we didn't really have enough interest in the characters before they went and did that. So we didn't, like, I felt like I wasn't connected to any of the characters because we jumped around so much. There was like 6 people we were following, and then it just was kind of, I just felt disconnected to all of them. And so when the stakes got higher, I just was not invested.
If the movie had like the first hour just be like just getting to know the characters and just kind of vibing with them and feeling like you really connected to them, if the writing was more consistent, or if we had more time developed to each of them, then when it got really heavy, then that would feel like, oh crap, like things are really starting to go down. But literally for like half the movie, I'm like, wait, who's this person again? What is this person's deal? Like,
right.
Like I knew a couple of them. I don't
remember like any of their names.
I knew a couple of the characters just based on the actors playing them. But like other than that, I'm like, wait, who's this person? Who's that person?
Yep, I feel like they all look the same. They all have the same haircut or something. I don't know. I could not tell any of them apart.
It's kind of it's kind of like The Outsiders, where they're all different, but they all look similar enough that like if you don't it's like oh okay, like you know that this is this person, this is that person because of the actors. But if you don't know who the actors are, you're like, they all just look the same.
So true.
But the gym teacher from The Boy Who Could Fly is in this movie. But I forget who she plays because it's been a little bit since I watched this. I was gonna say, you know who else is in this movie? Is
who?
Is the guy from Friday the 13th that's singing that weird song in the bathroom before he gets killed by Jason. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
But you want to know who else that guy is? He's also the voodoo guy from Scooby-Doo that Daphne runs into. Oh my
god.
The one that's
like Scooby-Doo the live action movie?
Yeah, the first Scooby-Doo movie where he's like, Daphne, don't go into this castle. And she's like, aha, you want me to go to the castle, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's that guy. He's in this movie, too. Oh.
What's his name?
He's also in Return of the Living Dead.
Oh, yeah. Janet McLaughlin is the gym teacher.
Miguel A. Nunez Jr. If I said that wrong, I apologize.
I see him. Yep.
Oh, he's also in Lethal Weapon 3 and Street Fighter, which are movies I have not seen, but I've heard of. So... there you go.
So awesome. The main guy, not the main guy, the guy who is top listed on the cast, Dermot Mulroney, I recognized him from him being in stuff as when he's older, because he always plays like the hot old guy. He's got like salt and pepper hair. I just think he's so attractive, and so watching that movie, I was like, oh wait, I know those eyes. Those dreamy eyes. And so he was actually one I could keep track of too.
What else has he been in that you've seen?
He's in, actually maybe one of the first things I saw him in was New Girl.
Okay.
I think he and Zooey Deschanel date for a minute in that movie, or in that series. He's in My Best Friend's Wedding. He's in Scream 6. Uh-oh.
I have not seen Scream 6 yet.
Oh, he shows up in a few episodes of Friends. Yeah, who does he date in Friends? Does he date Rachel in Friends?
He's in Friends? I need to look this up. Hang on.
Uh-huh.
What was his name? Dermot
Mulroney. He's in a lot of stuff. American Horror Story.
He's in a lot. He's in Zodiac. He's in... oh, yeah, he does date Rachel in Friends.
Righteous Gemstones.
He's the guy... oh.
Okay, yeah.
I totally see it now. He's the guy that she dates for like a couple episodes because she just spoilers for Friends, I guess. She just had her baby, and she goes back to work, and then that's the guy that she like has a thing with for a little bit. I can't believe I didn't notice that, but now I'm like, oh, it makes total sense.
But yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about There Goes My Baby.
Also, the Paul Gleason, the principal from The Breakfast Club, was also in this.
Oh yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, this movie would have been better if it was just The Breakfast Club. just have what's his name, Dermot from Friends, Lucy and Lucy's friend, and maybe the kid that doesn't want to get drafted. Have them just be in a room, and then there's that one scene I remember where like the kid's like freaking out because like he's got to go to war in a few hours, and I think I just saw like somebody die or something, and I'm like, this is like really serious. Like, what the heck?
Yeah. Oh shoot! I just looked. Mark Ruffalo's in this too.
Oh really? Who does he play?
He plays JD.
I mean, if you tell me his name, I'm gonna have no idea who he is. But
right.
I ask you what's his character name. I'm like, oh, I don't even know what the main characters are named. So.
Nope. Apparently, Dermot Mulroney's character's name is Pirate.
Oh yeah. Lucy's name is
Mary Beth.
Mary Beth. Okay. Yeah. So that's all I have to say about that, as Forrest Gump would say. Just well, I guess. To sum up, just kind of a whatever movie. I think there were parts I liked, but like, just not really. Yeah, the singing performance just went on for so long. I remember. Did you get to that part?
Yeah.
Did you see that? Like,
I did. I'm glad I didn't have the sound on for that part.
You know, like that scene in Mulholland Drive when they're auditioning for the part of the movie, and they've got like the girl singing. It's like just put that in this movie instead of that. Like that's much more enjoyable. Man, I haven't watched Mulholland Drive in a bit. That's good.
Me either.
That's one of those movies that literally has everything. Like it's got drama, romance, suspense, and it's also like super terrifying.
Uh-huh.
Like although I've not seen the entirety of Inland Empire, which I've heard is also terrifying. That's David Lynch's.
Really?
That's not counting The Return. That's his latest feature film, and it came out in like the mid-2000s.
Oh, snap. We gotta watch that.
They just put it on Criterion recently, and Laura Dern is in it, but there's an interview on the Blu-ray with her and Kyle MacLachlan, even though he's not in the movie, to my knowledge. And I'm like,
love that.
I'm gonna buy that 4K just so I can watch the two of them talk, because that will just be like,
yes,
that like they could just talk about anything and it would be great.
I love that.
Yeah, more movies. If this movie had Kyle MacLachlan, it would be much better.
I wish every movie had Kyle MacLachlan
and Lucy Deakins. Yeah, so I guess should we just move on to A Mother's Gift?
We can move on to A Mother's Gift.
The only note I have is that the ending especially reminded me of Gone with the Wind.
Yeah. It's kind of like a... Well, okay, so this came out in 95.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucy doesn't come in until like the third act, really. Late second to third act,
mm-hmm.
pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Which I really liked the beginning. So it's about a woman who gets married, and goes out west in the 1800s.
Yeah, I think so.
Or, like mid 1800s, and starts a settlement in Nebraska. Got a little sod house, start a family. They have 2 kids. That's Lucy Deakins plays the daughter, and I thought it was a really like heartfelt Lifetime movie, easy to watch, and I felt a connection to it because I grew up in Nebraska and we learned about all the covered wagon stuff and making sod houses and all the farming and everything. So it was just kind of like trials and tribulations of that, but not quite as sad as Gone with the Wind, thank goodness, and not as long, thank goodness. So for me, it was just enjoyable. I don't know, I liked it.
No, that's totally valid.
I thought the main actress was really good, and there's like an interesting love triangle at one point, and it's kind of like her sacrifices that she made to leave the city, go live out on the farmland, and then raising her own children and trying to not become like how her mother raised her, but then also trying to make her children happy. Because Lucy wants to just be married and live on the farm and be a good old wife with her husband that she loves, but her mom she's insistent that she's going to Juilliard or something, music conservatory or something like that, because she plays piano, which is what the mother had always dreamt about doing, was going off to the city and being a musician. So she was trying to push that dream on her daughter, and it backfired, but they still came out strong in the end. It was really sweet. I usually don't like movies like that where it starts off with the young people and then they go through their entire lives and like all the hardships and pain, like a full life story thing. But I don't know, I got through this one. I thought it was easy enough to watch. It wasn't too depressing.
I thought the beginning was kind of interesting. Like how they just kind of how okay, like they're going off and they're making their house and stuff, but it just wasn't really my thing, and I just wasn't all that invested in it. But
yeah.
Also I watched it late at night and I was tired.
Yeah.
But like it took me a second because the opening is like them driving down the road for like 5 minutes, and then it's like, hey, this is how we met like 3 years ago, and then there's this whole love triangle thing,
right?
And then it goes back to them like riding again, and then I'm like, wait, like so now we're caught up, and then the movie's like, oh,
now we're caught up,
like 2 years later, 10 years later. It's like, whoa.
Kind of skips around a lot.
Yeah, I thought the stuff with Lucy was kind of interesting, and the ending was like rewarding, like seeing her able to like pass on the titular gift.
Yes.
For some, I don't know if you got this or not, but for some reason I kept like when the husband was like, I've got to go do this thing for like a day, and then he comes back. I was like, oh no, what happened? What did he do? Did you get that vibe at all?
What did he go do?
I think it was when he got the pearls back for her or something. But like that part
right.
He just seemed like so sketchy, and I'm like, oh no, like what's gonna happen?
Yeah, it was weird. He's like, yeah, I gotta go. I'll be right back. Here's your pearls. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, he was kind of a jerk for part of the movie.
Yeah. So when he went off to go do that thing, I'm like, wait, is this gonna be like the end of things? And it's like, it is more like Gone with the Wind, where it's like,
yeah,
like that's kind of the vibe I was getting. So that kind of threw me off, and I was like, oh no, like,
yeah. Ugh.
But then he dies, so it's okay.
But then he dies, so it's okay.
and then the mom, I forget the character names, but the mom gives Lucy the pearls, and then that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Shortest review ever. There you go. The dad is sketchy. The ending is nice.
The dad is sketchy. There's pearls and
Lucy Deakins is
farming.
in the last third.
It's interesting how she ages from, I don't know, just in like 10 years, even though she's still young, it seems like she's aged a lot, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, because in all the other movies, she looks the same pretty much, but then this one, she looks a lot older.
She does look a lot older in this one. I noticed that too.
And I guess she's, like, kind of changing from her, like, girlish cuteness to more of, like, an adult.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's, like, why she didn't get as much work later on. Or if she quit on her own terms.
And then the last acting she did was an episode of Law and Order in 2002. That was the only other thing that she did after this movie, was being on Law and Order. But both times she's on Law and Order, she's different characters. Which, from what I've heard, that's kind of
okay.
like Law and Order, like recycles actors, like kind of like how, soap operas do.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So I have seen both of those episodes, just so you know.
Were they good?
The first one was. She was featured
Yeah.
prominently in it, and I was invested in what was going on. Then the second one just kind of threw me for a loop because I'm like, wait, like the people that are here are much older, and the people that are gone, like aren't here. So it's like, because it's like one episode was like in the early 90s, and one episode was in the mid 2000s. So like,
Oh, okay.
so it was kind of a jump, and Lucy was only in one scene. So there you go.
Dang.
She was also in
Could you watch that one episode with her in it, like, without watching the previous episodes? It still kind of, like, made sense?
Yeah, because I think for the most part it's pretty episodic.
Okay.
From what I've gathered. Yes, but I watched the season 4 episode 3, according to IMDb, and season 13 episode 5.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a big gap.
Yeah. Let's see. She was also in an ABC after school special, called
Oh, yeah.
an
We
episode.
tried to find that.
Yeah. Wait, did you? Yeah, I couldn't find it anywhere.
Sad.
And then she was also in the series As the World Turns, which is a soap opera. So she was in a few episodes of that.
Okay.
And those are all her acting credits on IMDb. So.
Lucy.
And then I did find out that the movie Stacking does exist. But I can't find any.
Really?
I couldn't find any information about Lucy being in it, so maybe her scenes were just cut out of the movie.
Oh, okay. Well, that kind of rounds out our Lucy-thon.
Yeah, sorry to end on this kind of like melancholic, depressy, weird note.
It is a little bit, because she's just like, she should have been in more, and
well,
we miss her.
Yeah. Well, she's happy as a lawyer now, but
That's true.
She could join the cast of Oppenheimer or something, because that's like the most stacked cast in a long time. Other than Dune.
People would be like, "Who's this Lucy Deakins?" And we'll be like, "Yeah."
We'll just cheer every time she comes on the screen or something. But yeah, seriously, the cast for Oppenheimer is amazing. Like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Anyway, would you like to, unless you had anything else to say about this topic, would you like to jump into what we've watched this past week-ish?
Sure. Yes. Right. Let's get into what we watched. What did you watch recently?
Okay. So I watched, in my Laserdisc collection, one of the movies I have is Highlander 2. And I had never seen Highlander 1, so I'm like, I'm just going to watch both of these movies because they're free online. Let me tell you the story of these movies because they are insane. So Highlander 1 is about this man in 1500s. So it starts off as like an epic, like Braveheart. It's like in the 1500s in Scotland, and this one dude like dies in the war. Except he doesn't die because he's immortal. And then his whole like clan like shuns him because he's immortal.
Oh.
Because they're like, this is like black magic. You didn't die in the war. And then he goes and meets, because like even like the woman that he's in love with is like, no, I'm not going to associate with you because you're crazy. Because you're
crazy.
You're crazy. So then, then he meets this other woman, and they fall in love, and he goes and lives with her, even though she is not immortal. And then Sean Connery comes by one day and says, "I'm just like you. I'm also immortal. I can train you so you can fight the good fight."
Oh.
So this is the movie where the phrase "there can only be one" comes from, because they all
Right. Yes, I did know that. That's the only thing I knew about it.
Yeah, they all have to kill each other until there's one left standing. So Sean Connery is like, "I will train you to fight the evil ones." The villain in this movie is played by Clancy Brown, who is Mr. Krabs in SpongeBob.
Oh my god.
And he's also one of the prison guards in Shawshank Redemption.
Nice.
So then Clancy Brown comes by and cuts Sean Connery's head off, and then so the main character, Connor McLeod, he swears revenge, and that's all in the 1500s, and that's the first half of the movie, right? Does that all make sense?
Okay.
The second half of the
Yes.
movie is a grungy 80s movie set in the 80s, where Connor McLeod and Mr. Krabs are still trying to get each other, and then he finds this other lady that reminds him of his long lost wife, and she kind of figures out his whole story of what's going on, and then so they get together. Then the end of the movie is the Highlander going to fight Mr. Krabs. And then they have this like epic like sword fight, and then obviously he wins. And then because he's the last one, he ends up becoming a mortal man, but he can hear everybody's thoughts, and that's like the power that he gets.
Oh.
So now he gets to live.
That's the trade-off.
So now he gets to live a mortal life with this woman that he's fallen in love with.
Aww.
And that's the end. Also, the opening scene is him fighting like in a parking garage with swords, because it's a movie about sword fights. And it's like the coolest thing ever. I mean,
oh my God.
I mean, it's like cheesy as heck because it's the 80s and it looks pretty. It doesn't look that great, but like it's awesome.
I didn't know that it like had that switch to the 80s.
Yeah. So that's the first movie.
That's funny.
Are you ready to hear what the second movie is about?
Yes, I am.
The second movie starts off in the 90s, where Connor's wife is one of many people dying from radiation poisoning. So Connor assembles a team of scientists, and they shoot this shield up into the ozone layer. So then the ozone layer is blocked from. So there's this giant shield over the Earth to keep it from decaying, basically. And then the movie cuts to the year 2024. And keep in mind, this was just made a few years later. So it cuts to the year 2024, and Virginia Madsen comes across. She's like trying to restore the Earth to what it was. She's like part of this like group that's like we need to like restore balance because everything's all messed up now.
Okay.
So she goes and finds the Highlander, Connor McLeod, and he's like an old frail man now, because obviously he's lived for like 30-40 years, like for 40 years as a mortal man.
Okay.
So then she finds him, but then these other goons find him too, and so he's like, wait, I'm not the last one anymore. So then he ends up and fights off the goons, and then regains his immortality.
Oh, no.
So then he and Virginia Madsen have to go. So now he's like young and good looking again.
Oh, okay, cool.
So then the two of them like okay, we've got to go stop these other guys because there's evil afoot.
There's evil.
Yes. So then in the opening scene of the movie, I know I'm skipping around a little bit, but in the opening scene of the movie, when he's still an old man, he hears, because he can hear people's voices now. So he hears Sean Connery's voice in his head, and Sean Connery says, "Do you remember where our journey began? Do you remember it being in another galaxy?" And it cuts to him and Sean Connery on this different planet 500 years ago, so before the first movie.
Oh my!
And then they got sent to Earth. So they're actually like aliens. So the true beginning of the story is that, according to this second one, is that 500 years, like before the 1500s in the first movie, they were fighting a rebellion on another planet, and because they were part of the rebellion fighting against like the Empire, basically, like in Star Wars terms, they got sent to Earth as punishment, and they had to live immortal lives until all of them were killed.
Oh, okay.
So it turns out not all of them were killed, because Michael Ironside is the bad guy in this one, and he comes down from the other planet to fight the Highlander. So then that's how I think when they got sent to Earth, they lost their memories. Like when he met Sean Connery for the first time, it's like, like they had already known each other a long time ago. And then are you still with me?
Yeah.
And then back in the present, which is a year from now for us, 2024, Virginia Madsen and him, they're trying to stop this bad guy, and then he calls out Sean Connery's name, while in the middle of a fight, and Sean Connery inexplicably comes back, just from the dead, and he reappears out of nowhere, and he has his own adventure, like trying to get to Connor McLeod and Virginia Madsen. He's trying to because he comes back in Scotland, so then he just has to get to the U.S. so it's just like Sean Connery from the 1500s, like flying on a plane, just being Sean Connery, and it's amazing.
Why, if he could just pop back into existence, why would he not pop back where he's needed?
I don't know, because he wasn't needed until now, I guess.
That's hilarious.
So then they reunite with Sean Connery, and then the three of them have to go and stop the bad guy.
Do they win?
That's the movie. Yes.
Yay!
But Sean Connery dies again.
Oh.
He sacrifices himself by touching this spinning fan. and then he goes, and the main guy goes and fights the bad guy, and then he wins. And then he and Virginia Madsen are like they're like, okay, you can either stay on Earth, you can go back to your other planet. And then he's like, I have to go back to the other planet and make sure everything's okay. And she's like, cool, I'm gonna go with you. And then that's how the movie ends.
So is there a third one?
Yes, but it ignores the second one because people hated it.
Aw, man, I want to see Virginia Madsen and Highlander in their alien planet.
Yeah, I know, I did too. That would've been cool. But also, depending on what version you watch of this movie depends on what version of the story you get.
Really?
So there's a version where they were like, because like it's one of those situations where it's the director of the first movie came back, but they had him make all these changes, and he got locked out of the editing room and stuff, basically. When he was like offered to like do like a re-edit of the movie, basically they tried taking out all the "you're from another planet" stuff, but it doesn't quite but it doesn't quite gel well, because it's like oh, we just set this in the past, but there's like future tech and stuff. It's really kind of weird. So I technically have watched 2 different cuts of this movie. So, because one of them has more scenes and is better, but it takes out the stupid alien stuff. And I'm like, guys, like, okay, like the first movie is supposed to be serious. I get it. But now it's from the 80s and it's super campy, and that's part of its charm. If the second one wants to be batshit crazy, just let it be batshit crazy. Like,
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, so they're aliens from another planet. And then I also watched all the because there's the original Evangelion series, which ends with the movie, which I've talked about because it's so impactful. And then when they were going to make another anime series, like a reimagining kind of thing, but instead of making seasons, they just made 4 movies. So I watched those 4 movies.
Oh, okay, cool.
And my overall opinion is pretty mixed, because there's things I like, and I think for like 2/3 of the last movie, I'm like, okay, I really like where they're going. And then they kind of didn't stick the landing for me. I just felt like certain characters didn't get the service and some of the characters got disserviced, and some of it just, some of it didn't feel right. But there's elements of those movies that I really like, but I definitely easily prefer the original series and the original movie because, you know. So there's that.
And when did that come out?
Those came out from 2007 to 2021.
Okay.
And then I had not, the other movie I watched, I had not seen 5 Feet Apart, which is one of Emily's favorites. So we watched that.
Oh, yeah.
And I enjoyed it.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's Cole Sprouse and Haley Liu. So,
yeah.
So, like, why wouldn't I like it? But no.
Yeah.
I was really engaged in it, and I thought it was, Moises Arias was in it too. Rico from Hannah Montana.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Rico!
Yes, Rico. Love Rico. And then Emily and I also went to the theater to see Suzume, the new Makoto Shinkai movie. You know, the guy who directed Your Name.
What'd you think?
I liked it quite a bit. Short version is that it's good. It's really good. Didn't like it as much as Your Name, or perhaps Weathering with You. I kind of need to rewatch Weathering with You to see which one I like better. But it's still got that Shinkai stamp of quality, and the animation is just flawless.
Cool.
So I recommend that one. And so that is the majority.
Was it sad?
No. It has sad moments, but everything turns out okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is what I have seen. I just wanted to tell you the Highlander story because I
it's very awesome.
Because okay. Like a lot of people like I think the consensus is like the first movie is good and the second movie is not. But I'm like, well, no. that's not the case.
Well, no.
They're both like super campy and like of their time, but like that's why they're awesome. And for different reasons.
Yeah.
But yes, I wish the third movie would have followed the second one because like you said, I would love to see him and Virginia Madsen on this other planet. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be entertaining.
Yeah, so so what did you watch?
Let's see. Not much. Did I tell you about the Brendan Fraser movie I watched called Still Breathing?
I don't think so.
So this is from 97, and Brendan Fraser has these visions of like his dream girl, and he makes art about her, and he's like always trying to find her, and he gets like these little clues about where she is so that he can find her. One day he does come across her, but she is like a scam artist, and she mistakes him for some guy that she's supposed to be scamming. All that she knew about the guy was that he was from Texas, and so Brendan Fraser's from Texas, and she's like, "You from Texas?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so she proceeds to like try to scam him.
Okay.
But then he's like, "No, you're my dream girl. Like we have to fall in love and all this." And so it's kind of a funny like dichotomy of watching both of them keeping their secrets and like trying to get their way with the other person, you know?
Yeah.
But then they fall in love, and it's really cute, and Brendan Fraser is so hot in this. Oh my god. I did not know he was this hot.
Yeah, I need to catch up on my Brendan Fraser movies.
I think I watched this on Tubi. No, Peacock. There's this whole list on Peacock that is called, I think it's on Peacock. Yeah. It's either on Tubi or Peacock. God damn it, I can't remember. It's on both. It's also on Prime for free, Vudu, everything. Either on Tubi or Peacock, there's this genre, like a list of movies that is called Before They Were Famous, and it has all these movies with celebrities who went on to get famous. So it was like all the movies that they had done before they were famous. And that's where I watch the Disco Pigs movie with Cillian Murphy.
Oh, yeah.
That was so weird. And so this one was on that list too. And there's a ton of them on there I want to watch. Oh my gosh. So, you know, Murder Mystery 2 came out on Netflix and it was like the most watched movie for 5 days or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So the Adam Sandler and Jennifer, what's her name?
Aniston?
Jennifer Aniston. Yeah. We were like, well, is there a Murder Mystery 1? So we looked up Murder Mystery 1 and we watched Murder Mystery 1 and barely got through that, but then we're like, well, now we do have to watch Murder Mystery 2, and we started it, and like through the first half, we're like, should we stop watching this? This is stupid. But we just had to because we put in the time to watch the first one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I rated them both 1 star. It was just like it was just stupid, immature comedy, like bad.
So not
Bad.
worth watching.
No.
Okay.
But I did go down the Puss in Boots rabbit hole. Not really rabbit hole. I started my Puss in Boots journey with... Well, I think I mentioned to you we tried to watch Puss in Boots.
Yeah,
the one
Christopher
with
Walken.
Christopher Walken in it. And we couldn't get through that because it was a musical and it was... No, just bad. So... But then I wanted to watch the new Puss in Boots because I have heard it's good.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched the original Puss in Boots, which I had never seen. That came out in 2011?
Yeah. I haven't seen the first one either.
It was really good. I liked it. It's funny. And then the new Puss in Boots was really good too. Also funny.
Well, that's awesome.
And entertaining. Just a good, like, kids movie, you know. I did watch Smile finally. I liked that one. It was very creepy. I think, I fell asleep watching it one night and then I had to finish it the next night, but I wasn't like in the same mood, or like I couldn't get into it as much the second night, you know. Mm-hmm. How that happens. The ending was kind of weird. Yeah.
With There Goes My Baby.
There Goes My Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked the ending and then I didn't like the ending and then I liked the ending and then it was alright. It was worth a watch. I like a good horror movie. Or I like a horror movie. And I started Knock at the Cabin. I need to finish it.
Oh, I want to see that. I've heard that's good.
I liked it so far.
I also wanted to watch Old.
They do a good job. Oh, yeah.
Which was M. Night's previous movie.
That was okay. Yeah. It was good. Worth the watch, I'd say.
Okay.
But I don't really feel the need to watch it again, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Good cast. But yeah, that's about it. So... I need to watch some more stuff. Oh, what are we going to watch next time? Next time, we are going to be watching The Little Vampire. It is streaming on Tubi as well as the Roku channel. Based on our break, this is what we decided to watch next, so stay tuned.
Thank you for listening to this retrospective on Lucy Deakins' filmography.
Thank you. It's been a journey. Thanks for coming with us.